What's going on, guys? Welcome to the live chat. I've been trying to do at least once a week. I've been trying to do a live stream. Thank you guys for joining me as always. I appreciate you guys. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching in the future, please do me a favor, like the video. Thank you for joining me. Those of you who are here early. And also, for anybody who watches this live chat after the fact, I was thinking there's always people who can't tune in live. If you want me to, there's topics or questions that you want me to talk about next week, do me a favor. Comment on this live chat when you're watching it. Comment any questions or topics you have for me, and I'll talk about them in next week's live chat. So I thought that was a good idea. That way you guys could, anybody who can't watch while I'm doing it live can comment questions. So there's so much this week in MMA. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have been paying attention. We have UFC 267, 268 announced. We have some rumors about each one. UFC 265 is right around the corner. Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane in the main event. There's been a lot of controversy about Cory Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw, the decision. We can talk about that. And then also all your questions of you guys who are here live. We'll just talk about whatever comes up. So you also have Conor McGregor's tweet. I know that's been a big topic of discussion in MMA today, or yesterday really. So we can talk about that too. First off, I want to get to a couple questions that people commented. No need to flex. What are you talking about, my friend? But also leave questions in the live chat right now. I'm going to get to some questions that I had. I put out a community post on YouTube, and I had a couple questions that I'm now going to go answer for those who asked in that community tab. Okay, let's see. So from Sweepy Bands, we had, what's your top 10 pound for pound list, females included? Oh, so I prepared for this, but I actually read this wrong. So I'm going to have to answer this question next week because I thought he said, what's your top 10 pound for pound female list? So I got a female list prepared, and I didn't realize that he was saying, including females, give me your top 10 pound for pound. I thought he was just asking for females. So I'll work on that, and I'll answer that next week since I kind of messed up there. We also had from Williams F1 Racing, do you honestly think the UFC will give Conor a Dustin rematch once fit? I think he meant once he's healthy. And the answer to your question is, it depends. But generically and broadly, I say yes. Now, if Conor comes back and he is 100% and Dustin Poirier is not the champion, I think they give him another crack at Dustin if that's what he wants. Now, hypothetically, my eyes itching, my mustache is itching. Sorry, guys. Hypothetically, if Dustin loses to Charles Oliveira and Conor then returns next year, I think Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 4 is next up. Now, hypothetically, in the situation where Dustin Poirier may be champion, if he beats Charles Oliveira later this year or early next year, I think what the UFC does is they give Conor kind of a tune-up fight against a beatable opponent in the lightweight division. If he wins that, no matter who it's against, they give him the next title shot. So no matter what, I think if Conor wants it, he'll eventually get it. But also, I see a lot of people speculating. I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Dante or whatever, who's usually in the live chat, that Dustin won't take the title fight against Charles Oliveira for fear of getting the title and then not being able to fight Conor for a fourth time. And I think that's just completely inaccurate because I think the fight versus Conor is always there. Whether Dustin Poirier goes on to beat Charles Oliveira and defend the belt a couple times, or he goes on to lose to Charles Oliveira and then loses 3 in a row. That fourth fight against Conor McGregor is always there. It's like the Nate Diaz trilogy. It is just always going to be there. If Conor wants to fight, it's going to happen. Whether Dustin Poirier and Conor are both washed up 4 years from now, I don't know. But hypothetically, that fight will always be there and that fight will always sell no matter the circumstances. If Conor loses his next 4 fights in a row and Dustin loses his next 4 fights in a row, that fight will always be there. The UFC will always be able to make it and sell it. So there's kind of some in between there, special circumstances. But I don't think the UFC will give Conor a title shot if Dustin is the champion. But I don't think Dustin is going to wait around to potentially not fight until next spring or summer just because he wants to fight Conor for a 4th time. I just don't think that's going to happen. Okay, now that I got those questions out of the way, let me go read some of the chat. Thank you for joining me, French fries. Who do you think wins the rematch, Usman or Covington? I'm going with Kamar Usman. I think that Kamar Usman I'm trying to think how I want to describe this. I think Kamar Usman has grown so much since his first fight with Colby. And I know Colby has probably gotten better, but I really believe that the leaps that Usman has made is far surpassed anything Colby could have possibly done. Plus the inactivity from Colby. Meanwhile, Usman's been fighting left and right. I just think Usman has widened that gap. And when it comes down to analyzing this fight, I think it's a very simple fight to analyze. We've seen it play out the first time, and this is the way I thought of it the first time. Both guys are very, very dominant grapplers. Both guys have unlimited cardio. And their grappling essentially cancels each other out. Neither guy even tried to grapple in the first fight because both of them are so good. It's almost like they cancel each other out. I would love to see some clinch initiations in the second fight, but I don't think it's going to happen. So that means it's majority going to be on the feet. And who's the better striker? I think Usman was the better striker in the first fight. I thought he was the better striker before the fight and after the fight. He obviously finished him in the first fight, so that kind of cements my position. And then Usman has just gotten better and better. Every fight out, he looks better and better. And not to mention, it seems like, I don't know if it's just luck or accuracy that he's been working on, but you see the knockout of Jorge Masvidal. And no matter what Colby does, I don't see him knocking Usman out. I just don't see it. Colby has some of the softest punches in the game. He's a volume striker. And I just don't know how he would get it done against Kamar Usman. If you see an avenue to victory for Colby, I just don't see it because Colby's striking only works because he can out-cardio the other guy. He's not out-cardioing Kamar Usman. So, so that's just the way I see it. I think Kamar Usman wins that fight, and I think he wins it pretty handedly. I'm excited for it. I think Colby could surprise us. But I just really think Usman he's widened that gap, and he was already better than Colby 2 years ago. And just the fact that Colby's been inactive, I think that adds to it. Meanwhile, Usman's been super active. I was here earlier, been checking in randomly. Thank you, French fries. Ginge, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. John Rod, thanks for joining us. MCCC, Strickland TKO. Okay, we'll see. Are you watching Bellator or UFC this weekend? I'm going to try to watch both, and I may do a stream of myself watching both. I have 2 laptops here, so I could probably do that. Mohammed Golid, are we on? I don't know what that means, but sure. What's up, Blaze? Hope you're doing well. I heard Artem retired. Really? Yes, he did retire. My next question is, who cares? I don't even think that should have been a news story. What's going on, Tony Brown? What's going on, Chimney? Thanks for asking everyone to drop a like on the stream. Also, you guys know in the last couple weeks I've gotten monetized. If anybody wants to send some super chats and support the channel, I much appreciate it. Issa says, yes, I agree with you. Thank you. Conor vs. Diaz 3, what do you think? Conor vs. Diaz 3. I would love to see the fight. I think it's a fun overall matchup. I favor Diaz. I was one of the and you guys will never believe me, I did not have a YouTube channel then. But I picked Nate Diaz to beat him in the short notice replacement. I think Diaz is a nightmare matchup for Conor. Unlimited cardio, a granite chin, and he just never goes away. So I picked Nate Diaz to beat him in the first fight on short notice, and he did. I picked Nate Diaz to beat him in the second fight. And I rewatched it recently even, and I thought it live. I thought Nate Diaz beat him 3 rounds to 2. It was clear as day. Conor came out and made adjustments, but he started to fade. He was almost finished in the 3rd round. I think that Diaz beats him in a trilogy fight. I think Conor has regressed, and I think Diaz has gotten better. And Diaz has always been a little bit better than Conor, in my opinion. And And it just is what it is. And Nate Diaz is naturally the bigger guy. He's not massive, I don't believe. I don't buy into the narrative that Nate Diaz is just so much bigger than Conor. But he does have a little bit of a size advantage. So I picked Nate Diaz in the trilogy. And I think that fight should happen. I think that'd be a good fight, even for Conor's return fight. But I don't think that's going to happen. Conor deleted a tweet after 3 hours after posting it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't even care anymore, honestly. Conor's just out there. He's an angry man. He's obviously very bitter, and he'll say anything to get attention. Obviously, my guess is one of his friends, coach, manager, somebody told him, you got to delete that. It's just distasteful. You know, I'm not shocked by anything Conor does anymore. He punches old men in bars. So I wasn't surprised at all, but I just think it's disgusting, and I think it's unnecessary. And I just think it goes to show that you're really bitter as hell. I think Conor is so competitive that he just can't stand to lose. And he lost to Khabib, and he's never getting that fight back. And I think it eats him alive. And I think Khabib knows that. So, in the end, Conor's the real loser here. He's talking about people's dead parents. I mean, how could you support that? For the first time in a long time watching Bellator over UFC this weekend, this card just isn't it. This card for the UFC, Vegas 33, is atrocious. And I know it's been hit by injuries, but even before the injuries, it's just trash. It is just trash. I'm always honest on this channel. I know there's a lot of MMA channels out there that'll say, oh, we got such a great card this weekend. Can't wait to watch. This card is shit. This card is shit. The only fight on the entire card that gets any interest out of me is Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. And that by no means should be the main event. I think that could maybe be a main event for the UFC prelims for a pay-per-view. I just think this is a disgusting card. I think it's a slap in the face, especially when you got, Pitbull versus AJ McKee. I'm excited for that fight. I'm going to try to do a pre-fight video on that and a prediction. I'm trying to do a little bit of research because it's just hard to remember all their fights. And I'm trying to get a feel for who I want to predict wins. But I'm definitely going to be watching Bellator this weekend too. So I'll probably watch both. Regarding Khabib's father, so he said, COVID is good, father is evil. Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, that's what Conor tweeted. And he's referring to a tweet where Khabib tweeted to Dustin and said, congratulations, Dustin Poirier. Good always defeats evil. So Conor tweeted that out saying, oh, well, COVID's good and father's evil because COVID killed Khabib's dad. So, I mean, how much more distasteful can you get? I know there's a lot of Conor fans out there. If there's anybody in this chat who loves Conor, do you support this? I'm curious. Or is this finally crossing the line for you? Because I just think no matter how much you hate a guy, how can you talk about someone's dead parents? And it's funny because the media is finally getting on him. And I wonder if that would be the same case if Conor had won the last two fights. And he was still, I know he's still a megastar, but if he was relevant right now and it didn't look like his career was coming to an end sooner rather than later, I wonder if the media would be attacking him the way they are. Because they let him get away with a lot of other stuff with, they didn't want to put out any bad articles to get on the UFC or Conor's bad side. So I wonder if they would be going at him as hard as they are with their news stories if Conor was still relevant in MMA. Great analysis. Thank you, Blaze. I appreciate it. Poor Aljo. Yeah, I don't think he wants that Petr Yan fight, if that's what you're referring to. I think he's going to lose, and I think he's going to lose badly. I just don't know what adjustments he can make in such a short period of time to win that fight. I dislike Conor more after his tweet about Khabib's dad, considering Khabib's dad was the only one that was willing to forgive Conor. Exactly, and it's just, this is a sport. Seriously, you're going after somebody's dead parents? It's just total piece of shit, in my opinion. Usman only knocked out lightweights that couldn't even make the top 10. His only defense versus a welterweight, he was faking nut shots. I'm going to have to disagree with you, man. I think Gilbert Burns is nasty. I know he came up from lightweight, but he's huge now. He beat Woodley, the reigning champion. Usman's a quality fighter. And whether, you want to say the nut shot or not, Colby faked an eye poke. So we're even. All's fair. What's going on, Alex? How are you doing? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat. Man, if Nate used his wrestling just a bit the second fight, it would have been clear that Diaz won. But he needs to take use. I guess you're saying he needs to use his jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I think Nate Diaz could win clear if he did the Anthony Pettis strategy. What he did to Anthony Pettis, just push him up against the cage, wear him out, and then eventually get him down and beat him up. Let's see. This card is a nightmare even before the fights were canceled. Agreed, man. It was a terrible card. And I've talked about it before, and I even mentioned it earlier in this chat, that there's a lot of MMA analysis from media members and or YouTube personalities who just have like smaller MMA YouTube channels. And I haven't seen this because I don't really watch any of it recently, but in the past I've seen it, who will just sit there and sell you a shit sandwich. They will say, I can't wait for this card. This card is going to be amazing. And it's just like, what the hell are you looking at? This card is terrible. I will always be honest with you. Regardless if you guys disagree with me or not, I'll tell you, this is a shit fight. I don't care about this card. And if you guys disagree with me, you disagree with me. If you agree with me, that's fine too. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and pretend I'm enthusiastic about a card that I'm not enthusiastic about. Anybody who's kind of sad, about this card this weekend, go watch Bellator. Pay with your eyeballs and go watch the Bellator main event. Pitbull versus AJ McKee should be a fun fight. Let's see. Let's be fair. They put out a ton of cards. There's not too many strikers. There's not too many stinkers. Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't know. The fight night cards have been kind of atrocious this year, And I know last week had a great main event, but the card wasn't all that great. Recently, you had Rosenstrike versus Augustus Sakai as the main event. Terrible fight card. There's been a few that have been stinkers, and I know they've had a lot of. And I'm not talking about the quality of the fights, because you can have fun fights, entertaining fights, but for me, the majority of the fun, and you guys tell me in the chat if this is how some of you feel as well, is even if we go into this card, I hate this, so I'm gonna go into a big, rant about this. But a lot of times you'll see people talking shit about a fight card, and it's happened time and time again. This card's shit, and you'll hear Dana White, kind of be asked about the quality of the card, and he'll say, if you don't like it, don't watch. And I agree with that. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But what will happen is the fight card will be relatively fun in terms of fights. It'll be exciting fights. We'll get some crazy knockouts. And it'll be like, yeah, everybody was shitting on this card. Well, for me, the majority of the fun is having prospects and fighters that you feel can progress in their career. If the fight's meaningless, then it's meaningless. It doesn't matter how exciting it is. If neither guy, the majority of the fun is saying, okay, who do I want to see this guy matched up with next? And if you have fighters that you're like, okay, well, it's a fun fight, it's a brawl, but none of these guys are going anywhere. They're not fighting for a title. They're not cracking a top 10. Then what's the point of watching? That takes away a lot of the excitement. For me, at least. And I'm curious if a lot of you guys feel like this. It doesn't matter, whether I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying the fight itself, that's one thing. But it ruins it in part if it's not important and relevant. If you just have two random guys that we don't know, that aren't high level, that aren't going anywhere in the UFC, and they fight in a relatively exciting fight, that's great, but it doesn't mean much, I look at fights and I say, okay, where could this guy go from here, Like, for example, I was excited about Yanez versus Costa last week. Now, I'm not saying either one of those guys are going to be champion, but they have a bright future. And I was interested to see how they performed and how they progressed in their careers. And some of these fight night cards just don't have anybody relevant that I feel like, okay, who can this guy, who can, progress to be a potential title contender or a top 10 fighter. And there's some cards that just don't have that, and it's just terrible. Yo, Joey Diaz all day, every day, 209. Okay, Geraldo. Okay, cool. Cool story, bro. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean, but that's pretty all right, I guess. Let's see. Man, it sucks that Conor tweeted that I buried my mom, uncle, and my cousin's mom because they all died. Yeah, it's really distasteful, and I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm really sorry to hear that. It's just disgusting, and it's distasteful, and he obviously doesn't care. The guy is not a class act, but at the end of the day, what can you do? You just got to ignore the guy. I'm sorry that you went through that. I don't like what Conor's tweeting at all. I think he's turned a lot of people off, and I think he's just bitter. So at the end of the day, we just ignore him. We don't give him any clout. He's the one that's going to be pissed off in the end. Nobody cares about him. Nobody's rooting for him. I think Conor needs that. If all the fans turned on him, which will never happen, but if all the fans turned on him, I think he'd be a broken man. Conor is respectful in victory, not in defeat. That's exactly why he'll never be champion again. Not a forgiving sport. Yeah, and I think what I hate as well is that Conor in defeat, excluding this most recent Dustin loss, the night of the loss, he's usually respectful and humble. But as the days and weeks go on, the excuses start to trickle out. And it's kind of just one of those things where you're like, ugh. This guy's never been humble in defeat, ever. He just loses, he gets pissed, he makes excuses every fight, and because he's a star, he gets rematches. And it's undeserved rematch. He didn't deserve to rematch Nate Diaz. But because he's got a star and he demanded it, he got it. He didn't deserve a rematch with Khabib. He didn't get one because Khabib didn't want to give him one. But Dana White in the UFC wanted that rematch immediately. And he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve this rematch with Dustin Poirier, or this trilogy with Dustin Poirier. After what happened in that second fight in January, he didn't deserve it. And I know you can say, oh, well, Dustin didn't deserve it after he got starched back in the day. But the careers of both guys have just, the trajectory of both their careers have gone down so many, hills and valleys that it made sense to let him run it back, 8 years later. Who is your favorite? Hold on. Okay. I meant Diaz needs to use his jiu-jitsu in the trilogy. Agreed. I think he needs to use his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu heavily. Dirty boxing in the clinch, push Conor against the cage. Joey, do you think Usman's on HGH? To be honest, his head shape changes on and off camp, and it has injection marks all over his abdomen. To be honest, I'm not an expert on that. I don't know. And the theory I always go with, there's some guys who are suspicious. But until we have evidence via a failed test, there's really nothing we can do. It sucks, but I don't know. He could, and I hate to sit here and accuse guys, whether it be people accusing Paulo Costa or, Usman or GSP or whoever you want to accuse of using PEDs. I just don't know if the evidence is clear. And I haven't seen, I haven't paid attention to his head shape. I haven't seen the injections. But I'll tell you this, if he is cheating, I hope he gets caught. I'll say that. But I don't know. There's no evidence of it. So we had to assume he's clean until proven otherwise. Always thought of that. Okay, you were talking to him. Blaze says facts. I wonder what I was saying when that facts came in. I mean, there's evidence is there. He's clearly on it. I don't know, man. I got to look into that a little bit more. A lot of people are saying it. Alex says Usman has always been a big dude, but I believe Colby 100% on that accusation. I mean, the UFC hides so much. Did you see Anthony Smith saying John failed drug test the same week of the fight? Yeah, he's referring to the pulsing. And I'm not an expert on that. And I know that it doesn't look good, but the UFC and their doctors were saying, this is a normal thing. I don't think you should take them on their word for it, but I just don't know enough. But if there was concrete evidence that was bad and covered up, I hope it comes out. So Conor has CTE and he's on drugs. I wouldn't doubt if he's on coke, honestly, if he's a coke abuser. He's insulted everyone who lost a loved one. I think he'd dare himself to say the most outrageous thing and see if he can get away with it. Exactly. It's disgusting and distasteful. It's not very classy at all. Dude, that was 6 years ago for anyone saying Dustin didn't deserve it. Exactly. And there was so much more going on since then. And I think also, getting back to the cheating a little bit. Hold on, let me take a drink. And guys, fill the chat with some more questions, please. Fill the chat with some more questions for me. As far as the cheating goes, I think there's far more cheaters than are ever caught. And I think there's a lot of guys cheating right now and are getting away with it. And we'll find out. We'll find out some of them, but we won't find all of them. And it sucks, but that's just the nature of the game. You know, there's people taking PEDs in MMA. There's people taking PEDs in the NFL, MLB, NBA, for sure. And they have millions of dollars. So they're finding the next up-and-coming drug that can be cycled in and out in 24 hours or 2 hours for all we know. One thing that I am super interested in is USADA saves samples so they can. So let's say they develop new tests like 5 years from now. They have samples saved from today that may have tested positive clean with the current test that they have, and can retest it with the new test from the future, if that makes sense. So I'm super interested in that. Thoughts on Darren Elkins, if he will ever be ranked again? No. Darren Elkins is like the craziest thing because he's just so tough and so durable and can take so much damage. And he just lets you beat the shit out of him till you're tired, and then he beats the shit out of you. I don't think he'll be ranked again, especially in the lightweight division. But it's tough. Who knows? He might be able to if he keeps beating guys. Answer me this in the chat, and am I crazy? Do you think would you favor Darren Elkins versus Conor McGregor in his return? Because I would. Bold statement right there. Someone's going to crucify me. I would favor Darren Elkins over Conor McGregor. Let me look right into the camera. I would favor Darren Elkins over Conor McGregor in his return. Let's see. I think we're getting Oliveira versus Poirier in the New Year's and Adesanya Whitaker in December. That could be true. Oliveira versus Poirier may be. I don't know if they're going to do a New Year's card. They stopped doing it the last couple of years. But it could be. It's going to be somewhere around that time frame. I'm honestly hoping, and I don't know if this is going to work out, I would love to get Usman versus Colby and Adesanya versus Whitaker too on the same card. I'd love that. So excited for UFC 267. The time is right for Abu Dhabi. We'll try to go. Yeah, man, that's awesome. I hope you get tickets. Hopefully they do good prices. Do they test for every fight? They test every fight night, but they also do random testing now. Over the past couple of years, they started doing random testing. So they test them, I think the day of the weigh-ins, I think they test them, and then they test them right after the fight. And then the USADA, that's the commission that does that, and then USADA does random drug testing throughout the lead up to the fight. Let's see. Holm versus Tate too. I think that matchup makes a lot of sense. I'd like to see that. Holm was winning that entire first fight, and then to lose by rear naked choke in the last second of the fight, just crazy, just crazy. Tate got her down. I think there was like 3 minutes to go or something like that, and choked her out. Awesome. Do you agree if Kamaru beats Colby, he's the welterweight GOAT? I think he's close. I think he's very, very close. But I don't know. Maybe gets a win over Colby. He beats Leon again. He beats Burns again. And I think we have to have that conversation. Let's see. Elkins. Ginge would take Elkins. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. Elkins would crumble under the pressure. Do you think? No, I think he would eat a lot of damage. Then Conor would gas and Elkins would beat the shit out of him. Elkins got too much dog for Conor. He'd break him down and beat him up. Imagine if you took Elkins' toughness and will to win / stamina and you threw it into Conor's body. He'd be an unstoppable fighter. Dana will use a bait fighter to give Conor the confidence again, then a title shot. Agreed. Ho, ho, ho. Adriana Yanez, next opponent. I haven't put much thought into that. Let's see. Who would I like to see him against? We could see him against Ricky Simone. See his wrestling tested a little bit. I think that'd be a great fight, but I think Simone might have just got to fight. I want to see Sean O'Malley fight a ranked fighter, so I don't want to see that fight. There's so many great bantamweights, and for some reason now I can't think of them off the top of my head. But there's so many. There'll be a great fight, great test for Yanez next. I can't wait. I watched more plates, more dates video where he specified microdose EPO can get around USADA test. Just saying. Yeah, I'm sure these guys have millions of dollars. I'm sure they can figure out a way to circumvent the USADA testing for sure. So, yeah, and I've seen a little bit of his videos before. I haven't watched a lot of them, but I've seen a good bit of them. So, uh, guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, please like the stream. If you know anybody who likes MMA, send them to my channel and tell them to go subscribe. And also fill the chat with some more questions for me. I really appreciate it. True or false? And I love true or false questions, so fill the chat up with true or false questions. True or false? Ortega puts a beating on Volkanovski. I'm going to say false. I think Volkanovski probably wins. Derek owns his own TRT clinic, so I'd take his word for it. Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be ways. I mean, when you have competition, there's always people that will find ways to cheat no matter what. And I think that there's guys making millions of dollars are going to find ways to cheat. And I think some of them will get caught, but others won't. So, who is the current CEO of EPO? I have no idea, to be honest. I don't even like to speculate because it's so hard and so subjective. You know, nobody in the world would have ever said Anderson's on steroids, and because you look at his body. But sure enough, he was using steroids. I wonder who the UFC will have Donald Cerrone for his last fight. I don't want to see Donald Cerrone fight again, but I'm sure they will give him one more fight. This Tough is boring. Watched 5 episodes, boring as hell. I haven't liked The Ultimate Fighter in years. I was going to try to watch it this year, but I ended up not watching it. And I just don't think I'm going to. I'm just not really into it anymore. You know, it's pointless, kind of. Tough is pointless when they sign CM Punk off name alone. Yeah. When Luke getting next fight? Luke Rockhold? Hopefully soon. He's been begging for a fight. I want to see him matched up with somebody good. Maybe Paulo Costa. I would like to give me Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa. True or false? Cory Sandhagen is champ on the end of 22. I'm gonna say false. I don't think he can beat Jan. True or false? Barboza will beat Brian Ortega. I'll say true. I think Barboza is nasty. I think Barboza is a legit title contender at featherweight. I really think he is. Barboza is just so good. We'll see if he gets by Giga Chikadze. That's a great fight, and I really do love that fight. And it gives Giga a chance to really prove himself, and it gives Barboza a very hyped opponent and a guy who looks really good. And then we can move Barboza along from there if he's able to win that fight. Did you see him taking the real bull down? No, I did not. Luke is the new champion. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying, my friend. I'm not sure what you're saying. Keep filling up the chat with as many questions as possible. Anything that you guys are thinking of. But since I put it in the title, because I thought it was a good topic to discuss here, let's talk about the TJ Dillashaw-Sandhagen decision. Because I really think Sandhagen had rounds 2, 4, and 5. And I really didn't think it was that up for debate. And I don't know the exact verbiage from the rules of judging. But effective striking and effective grappling is ranked higher and cancels out anything about octagon control or anything like that. And Cory Sandhagen was outstriking him in rounds 4, 5, and 2. And I just didn't think it was up for debate. I really think Sandhagen, I don't want to call it a robbery because it was kind of close. But there's no way that TJ should get points for getting Sandhagen's back and doing nothing with it over and over and over again. That's meaningless. That's no different than them standing in the center looking at each other over and over again. It's no different. So I really think Sandhagen won that fight. I think, I respect him for not making any excuses. He said, I should have done better, blah, blah, blah. And I just think it was terrible judging. And I don't trust the judges at all. But when are we going to get to a point where we can actually trust the judges to make the right decision? And I know it's highly subjective. But I just really think that Sandhagen won that fight. I think he clearly won 2, 4, and 5 as far as the rounds. TKZ versus Volk if Volk loses. I like that fight. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. No, thank you. I want to see Ngannou be an active champion. How old is Barboza? Barboza always fighting killer and never looking worse than the last fight? I don't know. I think he's in his mid-30s or his early 30s, actually. Yes, heavyweight division is in shambles. It's terrible. I had TJ winning 1, 3, and 5. We need former fighters as judging, not boxing judges that know nothing about MMA. Yeah, it's terrible. If you don't even know the exact rule, how can you tell? Because, I mean, I'm saying based on, I'm trying to think how I want to describe this. And my dog is barking in the other room right now, and it's driving me nuts. But Sandhagen clearly won those rounds. I don't know the exact verbiage of the rule, but you don't win a round by holding guys back and doing no damage. I know that for a fact, but I don't know exactly how it's written in the rule book. That's all I'm saying. So in my opinion, I think it's an open and shut case. I think Sandhagen clearly won those rounds. I think he clearly won 2, 4, and 5. So I don't know exactly how the line's written. I'm sure I can look it up and find it, but effective striking outranks everything else. And Cory Sandhagen in rounds 2, 4, and 5 had more effective striking. So that's how I know. So what I was saying is basically, I don't know the exact verbiage of how it's written, but I know the gist of what it means. Let's see. Aldo said that too. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying right there. Same judge gave Chandler 10-8 in the first round versus Olives. Gave TJ the 5th round. Yeah, the judging needs some work for sure, my friend. The judges need some work, my friend. Just know Dana and Hunter Campbell are on their knees for a crazy Derek Lewis KO in front of his home crowd. Probably, for sure. But either way, I think the Cyril Gane fight should be fun too. Kevin Weeks said, lost all respect for Conor. I didn't have any, but if I did, I would have lost it. I saw Weasel, and he said it's a robbery. He breaks down point by point, and sure, it's a robbery. I love Sandhagen. Yeah, I don't want to call it a robbery because I think it was close. And I think a robbery is just 3 blind judges flipping a coin and picking a winner. But I think Sandhagen definitely got fucked. So if robbery is right here, Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw is like just a hair away from it. So, also, hey Joey, how are you doing, my friend? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well, Kevin. Thanks for joining. Kevin Weeks said I watched the Weasel too. I'll have to go check that out. They should rewatch the fight again so the judges have a chance. Because I'm gonna be honest, I have to rewatch it a couple times to score it right. So they should give them like 25 minutes to judge. Yeah. Also, I think another solution would be to add more judges. Give us 5 judges. Why not? If you know anything to do with science, you can have the more experiments or whatever, however it goes, the more accurate you are. So if you had 100 judges, you're going to get a more accurate decision than if you have 3. There's more room for error with 3 than there is for 100. So I think that maybe they should mess around with 5 judges. I don't know if I've said it on the channel before, but I've also thought they should have, maybe if they do 5 judges, they have the 3 judges sitting cage side. I think there should be judges sitting in the back somewhere, watching on TV, no commentary, obviously, and judging the fight that way. Because if you've ever been to a UFC event, certain angles from the cage, it's hard to tell what's going on. So I think the best angles you can get are from the TV angle. So maybe have 3 judges in the arena, 2 judges in the back watching it on TV, and I think we can get more accurate results. Hell, give us even 7 judges. But also, I agree. It is hard. You're a close fight. You have to rewatch many times. Chris Lee and Saul D'Amato should get fired. Yeah, there's a lot of terrible judges. Saul D'Amato is always throwing some shit show of a fight card. They robbed Miranda Maverick on the card too. I don't think there's no way in hell Macy Barber won anything but the 3rd round. And she got 2 rounds to 1. How is that possible? It needs to be Jones versus Francis. I hate how the UFC robbed fans. GSP versus Anderson was supposed to happen at one point, but Dana got pissed how Anderson's performance was against Maya. Yeah, it seems like we're perpetually losing good fights. I think at one point in time there should have been an Anderson versus GSP fight. I think that we need to see John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. I think I said it on this channel before, but if the UFC booked Jones versus Ngannou, I was going to try to go to that fight because that fight would have been huge. So, Team Alpha Male, Uriah Faber must have paid some judges 3-0. 2 was a clear robbery. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. I have no idea what happened there. It was terrible judging. It's just, I hate those nights where the judges are just awful. And you can tell. I remember going into the decision for TJ versus Sandhagen. I said, you know what? This is just close enough where they're going to screw it up. How would Sandhagen and Aljo perform at featherweight? Let me take a look here. I'll go through the rankings, and I'll tell you who I think they would beat. Let's start with Aljamain Sterling. Who would he beat at featherweight? I think he loses to Volkanovski. I think he loses to Max Holloway. I think he loses to Brian Ortega. I think Aljo could beat Yair Rodriguez. He probably loses to Chan Sung Jung. He probably beats Calvin Kattar. Beats Arnold Allen. Beats Josh Emmett, loses to Dan Ige, loses to Edson Barboza, and I don't have enough information about Giga Chikadze. I say Sterling wins, just because Chikadze, he looks good, but he hasn't really fought anyone yet. Let's go Cory Sandhagen at featherweight. I think he loses to Volkanovski. I think he loses to Max Holloway, but I'd love to see that Max Holloway fight. That's a fun matchup I've never thought of. I think he beats Brian Ortega. I think Yair Rodriguez versus Cory Sandhagen would be fun. I'm going to say he loses to Yair. I'll say he beats Chan Sung Jung. I'll say he beats Calvin Kattar, beats Arnold Allen, beats Josh Emmett, beats Dan Ige, loses to Edson Barboza, and beats Giga Chikadze. So there you go. I broke it down for you guys. Let's see what else you guys are throwing in the chat. Lil Wayne is walking out with Colby Covington. That's strange. I guess he announced that. Kyler Phillips has potential. Yeah, he looks good. He just gets too wild. He looks very, very promising. He's well-rounded, but he just gets a little wild. But he does look very, very promising. Damage should count more in these fights. Cory was fine. TJ's leg was damaged badly, and he was bleeding like a river. Yeah, I mean, damage does come into effect, but not as much as it should be. JJ wants $30 million and won't continue fighting without pay, so Dana benched him. Yeah, I don't know if he actually wants $30 million. I think that's a rumored number. He said specifically. He just said he wants more. I have a video on the channel about it where he was very honest about what he wanted. He just wants more to fight Ngannou or at heavyweight than he was going to get paid on his current contract. And he said he wasn't asking for anything, out of line. I don't know what that means. Take that for what you will. We don't have access to the numbers. But I just think the UFC has to find a way to make it happen. Man, I love Faber, but his comment on TJ using and him ignoring it when he was at Alpha Male, those guys had to be on something. That is a great point, Alex, and I think that's actually disgusting. And I think the entire Alpha Male team made themselves look like little bitches, and I think they made themselves look worse. Because it was okay when TJ was abusing at your gym. You sat by and watched him cheat, and you knew he was cheating. But then the second he says, I'm out of here, I'm going to another gym, all of a sudden now you want to call him out? I think that's one of those things where you're friends with somebody, and this is a little bit of a weird analogy, but you're friends with someone, and you guys are the best of friends, and you guys tell each other the secrets, whatever these secrets may be, and some time goes by, and eventually you guys are no longer friends anymore, and you say, well, that guy did this, and this guy did that, and blah, 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 blah. It's just, you look like a jealous ex-girlfriend. And I think it's even a terrible look when you add the layer to say, you know what, it was okay when he was cheating in the name of my gym. But now that he's cheating to beat the guys at my gym, I have to call it out. So my guess is they were probably all using it. I'll never forget when Cody Garbrandt said at the press conference, you taught all alpha male how to cheat. So that just goes to show you. And that you could see the look on TJ Dillashaw's face back then. He was like, he didn't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. But I'm glad you brought that up, Alex, because nobody talks about that. And I'm the first to shit on TJ, and I'm the first to bring up all the accusations. But I forgot to make that point that, that it looks bad on Cody and Faber. So you knew he was cheating all this time, and you watched him take years off of people's careers? Years. They watched him inject EPO and beat the brakes off of Renan Barão twice. And you stood by and you stood in the crowd and you said, yes, that's my boy. I think they're just as flawed as he is. They should have reported him. And if they weren't going to do that, then they should have shut their mouths for their entire career. They should have never brought it up ever. I think it's a terrible look. Tanver Ali, thank you so much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. It really means a lot, man, that you're willing to donate to the channel and support the channel. It feels great. It feels great. Thank you so much, Tanver Ali. You're the man. And if anybody else wants to send some super chats, even if it's just $1 or whatever, down in the chat, you can click the little money symbol and you can donate to the channel. Every dollar is going back into the channel. Pretty soon, I'm getting the nicest microphone ever. After I get, start racking up a little bit of money from the donations and stuff like that, I'm going to grab the nicest microphone that's physically possible to buy. So thank you, Tanver Ali, for the donation. Thank you for anyone else. If you guys want to donate, it's easy. Just click that little money symbol in the chat, and I greatly appreciate it. So thank you again. Let's get back to some of these questions. Stipe's going to one championship. That's the best decision he can take at this stage in his career. Nah, he's kind of hinted that he might. But, it's not a sure thing. He's still under contract with the UFC. Unless I missed something, it's happened since we've been on here. But he's right, though. The UFC should have gave him an immediate rematch. If anybody deserved it, it was him. I think it was disgusting that they were going to give do DC versus Brock Lesnar and not give Stipe the immediate rematch versus DC. But I think one thing that DC is ignoring, or not DC, Stipe is ignoring, and the UFC takes into account, I think it's the inactivity. He only fights once a year. He's always injured. Whether that's his fault or not, the UFC's like, let me just move on a little bit because this guy only fights once every year. So I think it's one of those things where he can kind of sit out a little bit and maybe walk into a title shot soon enough. But I don't think he's going to one championship just yet. But I know he hinted at it. It's just kind of a negotiating ploy. Reynolds, okay, hold on. What do you think about the MMA community hating on the WWE? Don't you think that's a bit too much? Yeah, I don't understand why anybody's just hating on anything. Like we can all just appreciate, it's different sports. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't personally like the WWE, but I'm not going out of my way to shit on it. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I think what it is people get annoyed when there's constant comparisons between WWE and the UFC / MMA in general. They're like, this is the real stuff. It's not the fake stuff. And I think that's where it comes from. Just people drawing comparisons between the two. And people who are MMA fans don't like that at all. And I think that's where it comes from. But let everybody enjoy what they enjoy. I talk about it all the time. If somebody wants to disagree with me, that's fine. But you don't have to be a dick about it. I think one of the best ideas is to have 5 or 7 judges. Have you heard that idea floated out there before, or did you first hear it from me? I'm curious. I haven't heard anyone ever talk about that. I haven't heard anybody bring that up at all. Let's see. Which champion will lose their belt first, not including Aljo? Yeah, Aljo's the easiest guy. Okay, so let's look through the champions. Brandon Moreno, Aljamain Sterling. So I'm excluding Aljamain Sterling. I think Brandon Moreno holds on to it. Alexander Volkanovski, I'm going to say he holds on to it. Charles Oliveira holds on to it. Kamar Usman, Israel Adesanya. I'll say Jan Blachowicz. If he doesn't lose to Glover Teixeira, I think he loses to Yuri Prohaska or Alexander Rakic next. Now, when that happens, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We will see. So I say Jan Blachowicz. We'll see without the timing. I could be wrong. Who knows? Sandhagen would be a solid top 4 at featherweight, to be honest, but Ortega would kill him. Ortega has the best grappling on the roster. Yeah, Ortega would submit him. I always fantasized about an Ortega-Khabib matchup. By the way, Tanver Ali, I'm going down the chat. Thank you for the super chat again. True or false? The game plan of Colby against Usman will be to try to wrestle him since Usman is way better on the feet now. I don't know. I think he's going to try to tire him out and wear him down and beat on him. And I just don't think it's going to be successful. Colby's had the same strategy over and over again. Well, I'll be right back. Let me go see what's going on with my dog. And of course, I'm the only one home right now, so I got to go see what's going on. But I'll be right back. Feel free to send super chats while I'm gone. Okay, guys, I'm back now. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. What is going on? Okay, keep filling the chat with questions. Team Alpha Male is a Joshua Fabia. Agreed. Look, I just said the same thing. Jealous ex-girlfriend, and that's what Fabia is. A jealous ex-girlfriend. So, Cruz and TJ versus Team Alpha Male brawl. Who wins? Cruz and TJ versus Team Male. I'll say Cruz and TJ. It seems like those guys just have the Alpha Male's number. Check out some tube mics. They're warm sounding. I don't know what that means. So you're gonna have to elaborate that on Mike Mika Reynolds. Dante Zero. Hello guys. What's going on, Dante? Stipe is using it as a negotiating tactic, but he isn't a draw. He isn't Brock. Say what you want skill-wise. Brock means money signs. Yeah, true. But we'll never see Brock again. But I just think it's disgusting. I think the sport should, show some merit. And to give, Brock a title shot over Stipe at the time was disgusting. And even now would be disgusting. By the way, I'm a fan of both WWE and MMA, but I think MMA is more fun now. I'm only a fan of MMA. I used to watch it when I was a kid, WWE, but don't anymore. 5 to 7 judges sounds right with so much on the line and commotion. Yes. Let's see. Do you think Usman is on the juice? Somebody just asked me that. I don't know. I'm going to say no. I don't know, though. It could be, but we have no evidence. Look at Tanver Ali. Says, guys, send super chats, please. My friend. Yeah. Guys, if you guys want to support the channel, that's a great way to do it. If not, it doesn't matter. I appreciate you anyway. But support the channel, my friends. I think 5 is a good number. Yeah, I think so too. I think 5 is a very good number. But hell, I wouldn't mind 7. Yeah, but everyone is really. So there you go. Blaze Sports, thumbs up. Have you seen what Sean Strickland said about Khamzat Chimaev today? I believe him. I might have seen it, but I can't remember. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what he did say. I feel like I might have seen it, but I don't know. By the way, guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, be sure to like the stream. It helps the channel. If you guys have any friends that like MMA, send them my channel. Tell them to go subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. I can't believe I'm already over 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe I'm already monetized, which is crazy to me. I mean, I do this for fun, but it's awesome just knowing that the channel has grown so fast and you guys enjoy doing these weekly live chats. So I've been trying to keep up with them. I've been trying to do more live streams. I might do a live stream Saturday. I'm not sure yet. But let's see. Thoughts on Usman's dad and using the incarceration as a heartbreaking story. I never really paid too much attention to it. I never really understood that story, to be honest. So I got to look more into that. But if it is the way you phrase it, then it's kind of stupid and weird. But I get it. I guess what they're trying to say is, Kamar Usman grew up without a dad or whatever, or however long. I don't know how long it's been. Bro, I hope I can say the same one day. Joey, you're a really great channel. Thank you, Alex. If you guys want some more MMA content, Alex just started a channel. If you guys want to go check him out. Dude, it's crazy, but it's hard, man. It's hard. The main thing is just recording your videos. I know it's I don't want to say it's scary, but for me personally, I was nervous as hell, but I just did it. I wanted to do it for like 8 years now. 8 years I wanted to do this. So I wanted to probably do this since 2013, 14, somewhere around there. And I always wanted to do it, but I just didn't have it in me. Imagine if I had started 8 years ago. I probably have over 100,000 subscribers by now. So the hardest part is starting. You've already started. You're already recording some videos. And that's the hardest part. Just keep upgrading. That's one thing I will say. I am making a video soon called How I Got to 1,000 Subscribers. And the main tip I can give you is just keep leveling up your game. Keep trying to improve. That's what I'm a perfectionist. And I just want to get better and better and better. I'm already thinking about redoing my background. I definitely want to get a new microphone. As soon as I get enough in donations, I am buying the Shure SM7B, which the microphone by itself is $400. The setup is like $800. The second I get enough in donations, I am buying that microphone, and maybe even sooner, because I just love upgrading. I want the top quality. I hope I do some 4K videos if I have time. If I really want to get it out, I do 1080p. But if it's okay, if I'm recording a video tonight to upload it tomorrow, I'll do 4K. But I just aim for the best quality. But you don't have to do that. Just keep leveling up slowly and surely. You don't need to jump in all at once. Let's see what else we got here. The only way the UFC to add more judges if Nate told him. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, my friend. Oh, hold on a second. Pitties and STI, contributions for your new mic. Thank you, my friend, with the $10 donation. I know I say this every single time that I've gotten a donation so far. And I know it's $10. It might not seem like much or whatever. But it's really mind-blowing to me. And I'm genuinely appreciative. Genuinely. I mean this 100%. I know a lot of people online seem like kind of... Like, I watch some YouTube videos and I just feel like people kind of seem cheesy and fake. And I'm my honest self on here. And I genuinely appreciate it so much, Pitties and STI. For you to say, you know what, I want to help this guy grow his channel and be a part of it by donating $10. It literally blows my mind. Like, I swear, like I can't even put it into words. Like it's mind blowing to me. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I swear, I almost want to shed a tear, because to start this channel, and I know a lot of you guys haven't started channels. Some of you guys may have channels or not, or done it before. But it's like kind of a scary thing. You're nervous. You're self-conscious about doing videos and stuff like that. And, you don't know. And it takes a while to grow a channel. From everything I've read, I kind of got lucky. And I made some good videos. And some people liked them. And next thing you know, I had 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't happen like that for most people. And to get all the way to the point where I hit 1,000 subscribers. And then the fact I got you in here saying, you know what? I want to watch this guy improve. And I'm donating him $10 to buy his equipment. It means a lot. It means a lot. Thank you so much, Pitties and STI. I will be getting that mic. I will. I mean it. Every single dollar that I get donated to this channel is going to improve in this channel. Is going towards improving this channel. For this channel alone, I'm dead serious right now. For this channel alone, and I could prove it with literal receipts. I bought with everything included, the camera, the lens that I bought, the capture card that I bought. I think it was like $1,400 to start a channel with nothing, basically. Then I bought these 2 lights that I have right here. And I think those were 100 or 150. There's the Eero lights or the Elgato lights. That's what they're called, Elgato. So there's 300 right there. Then I needed a new laptop as it was. I went out and bought the best possible laptop that I could find specifically for editing. I think this laptop. And so I didn't necessarily like specifically buy it for the channel. I would say it's 50-50. I needed a new laptop. And I spent way more than I should just because I wanted a good editing laptop. My laptop was, I think, $2,300. It's the XPS 15, I think it is. And it gets awesome renders out. So, thank you so much again, man. I appreciate it. I never expected this, and I really do appreciate it. And I'm just gonna continue reading these comments. And also, you guys, it doesn't, the donations are awesome, but just being here, submitting questions to me, I appreciate that as well. So don't let me, think you guys have to do that. So it's just a little extra thing you can do to support the channel. But if not, liking the videos, watching every video, turning on notifications so you see them right away, being interactive in the chat, it all helps support the channel. So let's continue reading now. Let's see. He's the type of guy that goes in there and like one of us is going to die, not the point fighting. He doesn't do that, and you can't do that on him. One person goes out one way or another, Strickland said. He is the type of that goes in there, one of us is going to die, not point fighting. Well, Hamzat has shown that in the past, He's going out there to finish. Apex Electronics is a tube condenser mic, $249. There's a giant tube inside the mic. The old school radio adds warmth. Okay, thank you, my friend. I want that play button. Do you mean pay button, or what are you saying? What's the play button? Hamzat is in Vegas some months ago, so they trained together. Dress Studios, the GOAT at promo videos, better than the UFC in my opinion. You should check him out. I always get so hyped watching him. Let me take a picture of that so I remember. Let me take a picture of that so I remember what's the name. I will check that out. My friend. I think that's why I started the background and being on camera now instead of just an image. We'll make some news videos as well. Pity's great, man. Let's say if someone exposed the UFC for rig fights, would you still watch the UFC? It would probably ruin it for me, man. If we found out they were rigging fights, that's why I never believed they will. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think there's anything. If they were found out to rig one fight, I think their business model is screwed. No one could ever trust them again. It would ruin the sport for me. So I don't think they could risk it for anyone. Now, can they give matchups conducive to a certain fighter, a la Conor McGregor versus Dennis Seaver? Yes. But I don't think they're actively rigging fights. But to answer your question, I'd probably stop watching. I'd no longer be a fan. Have you ever cried while watching a UFC event? No. Katrina Yuki, my account is effed up, so I donate to you next live I see. Appreciate it, my friend. You don't need to explain we are here because we like what you do. Thank you. Can we become a member? I'm actually going to start a Patreon soon. And I got to look up, I think there's YouTube memberships. I got to see the difference. I'm still learning all this. I started this channel 3 months ago, so I'm still really learning about everything. I still have some technical difficulties sometimes streaming, but we'll see. I will have something soon. Bare minimum, I have a Patreon account where I'll have some type of extras. It might not be much at first, but you'll be able to do probably like a $3 membership or a $5 membership or something like that, and you'll get maybe like some behind the scenes. I'll show you my setup close up, record different videos and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see what I'm having new stuff coming soon. I'm looking to get some t-shirts made. So a couple of you guys, if you want to order a t-shirt or something to support the channel, you can. And I will definitely have them in probably like a month or so. I'm actually paying someone to design them right now as we speak. So we will see when they come in. When the design comes in, I'll put them up for sale. And if anyone wants to buy them, they can. But appreciate you. What's up? I love these streams. Always a good chat. I like to the point I'm staying up until 1 a.m. just to be here live. That's awesome, man. I thank you. And if you ever can't be here live, and I said this in the beginning, but I don't know if you were here or not, and you want to get a question in, just leave a question on that live when you watch it, and I'll look back for the following week when I do a live. I'll look at who commented questions. So that goes for anyone. If you're watching this after and I'm not live anymore, leave a question below in the comments and I'll look back at this video next week and I'll answer your question. You look like such a likable guy. I'm really happy for you, man. I really am. Thank you. I feel like, and I've kind of done things, the way that I feel like they kind of should be done on YouTube, and I don't know. I have no real idea. I've watched some videos, but I feel like, and you guys tell me in the chat if you agree with me, I feel like some people on YouTube almost feel like an infomercial. They don't feel like they're real people, and just it almost seems gimmicky. Some of the stuff they say seems very gimmicky, and you almost look at them and you say, I bet you that guy's a real asshole in real life. He puts on this perspective, like, almost like he's a cheesy car salesman. And I try not to be that. I try to be 100% myself. The only difference between me in real life and me on this live stream right now is maybe a hair less profanity, maybe just a hair less. And that's just because I don't want to get my channel in any type of trouble. But, I mean, I still use it. I don't care. But it's maybe just a hair less. And it's become more natural now because, just because I've been doing it for a little bit anyway. And by the way, what's up, Mac? I don't know if I read that or not. But I appreciate you staying up for the streams, man. I love interacting with you guys. It's always fun to talk with you guys. There's so much always going on in MMA. I can't make a video about every single thing, that goes on in MMA. And so to do a live chat, you guys can ask me opinions, and just get my opinions on things that I don't talk about in my videos. So that's why I love doing the live chat. I can't, I talked about how the donations were mind-blowing to me, but to have people even say they're staying up till 3 a.m. to watch me, it's just absolutely insane to me. So I appreciate you guys. Just being here is supporting the channel. Liking the videos, watching the videos, you're all supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Again, I say this every chat also. You guys know anyone who likes MMA, only if they're going to watch the videos. I don't need no artificial fake subscribers. If you know anybody who's actually going to watch the videos, send them my channel and tell them to go subscribe if they're going to watch. So you can go live in Facebook. I have a group with 1,000. I want to make time for MMA questions and answer and want to invite you just more like you. I'm going to have to get more information on that. I'm not sure what you're saying there. I have a group with 1,000. I want to make time for MMA questions and answer and want to invite you. Let me know what that page is, my friend. Let me know what it is in the chat. I think I understand you. Worst head movement in the UFC, ever in the UFC. Sean Strickland has terrible head movement. That's why I picked against him. Do you watch UFC events with friends or alone? So if I'm not live streaming the events, I watch with my fiance, who's been a fan for as long as I am. Obviously not as big of a fan as I am, but me and her both started watching together, and we've watched pretty much every single event together. I have one or two friends I occasionally watch with, but majority, usually me and my fiance watch them together if I'm not live streaming. If I'm live streaming, I'm watching with you guys. But to answer your question, because I realized I thought you were asking, I like watching events and really, especially for like the main cards of pay-per-views and really good quality fights, I really like to be dialed in. And I don't like to be around big groups of people. If someone invites me to their house, like I've been invited to people's houses before and say, hey, come over and watch the event. You can watch it for free. You don't have to pay for it. For friends who know I watch every event, I'm like, nah. I do not like watching the events with big groups of people at all. I do not like that at all. You need to make weave on your hair. Just put wax in a tie do-rag. I want to get a mullet, my friend. Change the channel to Mullet MMA. Yusuf says, congrats on the 1K. Happy to be a part of the journey. Happy to have you as part of the journey. Appreciate you, Yusuf. You're the man. Thank you for always submitting questions. And always, even if you stop in for a minute on the live chat, I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Every single time you guys like the video or just interact on the live chats, it's helping the channel grow. Right now, I'll give you guys an update on the subscribers. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Right now, I have 1,032 subscribers. 1,032 subscribers. And I'm about 5 months in. I started my channel April 1st. So April, May, June, July. That's 4 months. In a couple days, it'll be 4 months. To have 1,032 subscribers already. And is mind-blowing. And the fact that, you guys like joining me for these live chats. At first, I was just doing live streams during the fights. And, you guys told me, hey, we'd like to do live chats where there's not any fights going on. And I started doing them, and now this is number 14. When was the part about Sandhagen? This is a little late to say this, but anybody who watches these live chats in the future, please, if you're watching the entire thing, leave me timestamps. I will love you forever. You will be a big part of the channel. So if somebody's watching this after the video, the stream ends, and you're just watching the entire thing, I should have said that in the beginning of the video because someone's going to watch this and not do it. But please comment timestamps for me. So I don't know when the part was about Sandhagen, but I believe Sandhagen won rounds 2, 4, and 5. I thought it was pretty decisive. But I like the way Sandhagen took the loss, and I think he's still 1 win away from a title, honestly. So there's a kind of quick summary, but I went into more depth within the video. We also, because I titled these videos Relevant Things, we also got to talk about UFC 267 a little bit more, and Colby versus Usman too. Yeah, they take out of the zone, honestly. If I watch it with someone, I get zoned out, probably like one of my cousins that really watches UFC, not a casual. Yeah, it's just too much. Large groups of people are just absolutely not. I'd rather pay for the event. I hate watching people that won't shut up and yell when that person throws a jab. I used to go out to a restaurant for some of the shittier pay-per-views because I just didn't feel like buying it. But I haven't done that for 4 years. I bought every pay-per-view for like the last 4 years. I just don't like it. There's people in there, they're just ooh and ah when there's nothing going on. Then there's people like screaming dumb shit that isn't even relevant to the fight. And I just don't like I like just sitting in the comfort of my own home, on my own couch, watching on my 77-inch LG CX, which I just got last year, and enjoying the pay-per-view. By the way, when is the UFC going to start offering 4K pay-per-views? I want to buy a 4K stream. I don't care if it's $5 more. I hate okay. Tanver Ali, good night. I appreciate the super chat from earlier. You're the man. I will see you on the next stream. I might stream Saturday for the Bellator and UFC cards. So keep a lookout. I might go live on Saturday. I'll schedule it in the next day or two if I am doing it. But I probably will. What time is it where you're at, Ali? Guys, by the way, I ask this every video, but I always love seeing it in the chat. Comment right now in the chat. Where are you watching the live chat from right now? What country, state, whatever you want to say. I'm genuinely curious. Do you pay for pay-per-views? I have UFC Arabia. It's a subscription. Yes. So we have ESPN Plus, which I believe is $6 a month. So you have to pay $6 a month. But that's not it. You have to pay the $6 just to have the right to pay $75 for the pay-per-view. So all told, it's about $81 for the pay-per-view. And it just, it really sucks. It's expensive. Then you have Fight Pass. That has a lot of the older fights, and that's $10 a month. But I don't think you can buy the pay-per-view on there anymore in the United States. I think it's strictly ESPN Plus. But what's great is you can rewatch the pay-per-view on ESPN Plus after you buy it. And a lot of the most recent pay-per-views are still on the ESPN Plus. So to answer your questions, $6 a month ESPN Plus, just to be able to pay $75 for the pay-per-view. And then if you want to watch all the old fights on Fight Pass, $10 a month. USA, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, London, North Carolina, I think that's what NC is. Okay. Netherlands, UFC is free. Here, really helped me get into it. Yeah, that's awesome. Kashmir. So you basically pay $81 every weekend. Man, that sucks. No, not every weekend. Only for the pay-per-views. Only for like UFC 264, 265. The Sandhagen TJ Dillashaw is free. Uriah Hall versus... It's not free. It comes with that $6 subscription. If that makes sense. So you get the fight nights for free. They come with the ESPN Plus subscription that's $6 a month. I hope that makes sense. Only the pay-per-views, which is a good segue to talk about UFC 267. Only the pay-per-views cost roughly $81 a month. So essentially $81 a month I'm putting out for pay-per-views. I know a lot of people always say stream them, but I really don't like messing with that stuff. I usually watch it on my PlayStation. I order it on my PlayStation or through the PlayStation ESPN Plus app. Alex is from Texas. 4:16 p.m. here. It is 7:17 where I'm at right now. Mohammed says it's 3:16 a.m. Man, you must be tired as hell. You must be tired as hell, my friend. But thanks for joining the chat. So let's talk about UFC 267. I put out a video about this, but I figure we'll talk about it a little bit on here because it's very, very interesting. So usually the number of events, and especially this is a good explanation for people who are in other countries and stuff like that. So whether it be UFC 262, 263, 264, 265, all those numbered events are usually a pay-per-view, which means I got to pay the $75 for the pay-per-view and $6 for the subscription, which I pay for anyway because you get all the fight nights with the subscription. So for those numbered events, you usually have to buy the pay-per-view and pay that $75. And for UFC 267, because they're doing it prime time in Abu Dhabi, the start time of the card is going to be afternoon in North America. So it'll be like 2 p.m. in North America. So it'll be free from what I understand. It's just rumored right now. It's not 100% official. But essentially, because of the weird start time, the UFC is not going to have very many pay-per-view sales for that card. And it's not a huge star. So they're going to give it to us on ESPN Plus or ESPN. So if they put it on ESPN, you have to have a cable subscription to get it ESPN. And like the cheapest a cable subscription is about $100. Like just to watch your basic normal channels, I don't even know. I don't even watch cable, so I can't tell you. But if you want ESPN, if it's on main ESPN, you'll have to have a cable subscription, which I already have, even though I don't watch it. But that's the gist of it. So UFC 267, because it's going to be in the afternoon / morning in America / North America, the UFC is going to offer it with ESPN Plus or put it on ESPN, the channel, depending on, scheduling conflicts, which is going to be awesome because it's Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira, Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, and Khamzat Chimaev versus Li Jingliang already on the card. Supposedly Islam versus RDA may be on the card. So to get a card of that quality for free is awesome. And I'll take it 100% of the time. But it is kind of weird because it's very rare that they ever have an afternoon pay-per-view like that. And that is funny, double Yan card. But at least we're getting it for free. But it feels weird not having UFC that night. The last time they had an afternoon card was Khabib versus Poirier. They still charged for that one just because Khabib is a big draw. And it was very weird that night not having anything to watch. The last time they had a weird card where they didn't charge for it was UFC 138. And that was Chris Lieben versus Mark Munoz, which I watched that. I was a fan back then. It was... I don't remember even who was on the card. What's going on, Torin Brown? You should use a VPN. Maybe I'll look into that. What's going on, Worshipper33? Double Yan card, yes. Justin G and Khabib was an afternoon card. Was it? Am I mixing it up? Was Dustin Poirier versus Khabib an afternoon card as well? Let me look that up because now I'm mistaken. You're right. It definitely was. Now that I think about it, it definitely was. But was Dustin... what I was thinking of was Khabib versus... Poirier. Wasn't that a daytime card as well? Somebody let me know. I don't even know what to Google. But you are right. Khabib versus Justin Gaethje was a daytime card. But Khabib versus Poirier was definitely a daytime card as well, I think. So it's just because Khabib fighting in Abu Dhabi. So thank you for letting me know, worshiper. Dustin versus Khabib was a daytime card. Okay, I thought so. So I wasn't. For some reason, my mind had forgot that Justin Gaethje versus Khabib was one too. Yeah, but I remember now that he said that. At first, I was like, no, that was Dustin versus Khabib, but Khabib had two of them. And I remember. Do you guys remember? Apparently, they did that in some makeshift tent before they had like a full arena ready, and it was like no AC in there, and it was super hot. And I didn't like the fact that that was going to be affecting the fights. Everyone was talking about how it was like 100 degrees in that arena. I couldn't imagine fighting in there. I stream boxing, but I have a subscription for UFC because I really can't watch boxing like legally. There's one website called Fight TV, and that website sucks. Yeah, I don't like messing around with that stuff. Plus, you get to the point where, I feel like you get viruses and stuff like that, and it just sketches me out. So I just go ahead and just bite the bullet and just pay for it. It's just simple. Oh, this chat is a very strange one. Thank you guys for fixing me on that Dustin Khabib because I really I didn't even know what to Google, to be honest. I don't, I'm laughing at that last comment. Guys, fill the chat with comments, my friend. I hope you don't. I'm glad you don't. But, we very odd username. You can change that. You know that, right? You don't need to change it. I'm not asking you to change it. But you can if you want. All right, so let's talk about UFC 268 a little bit because I also put that in the title. We talked about it early on in the chat, but for those of you who weren't here, I favor Kamaru Usman to defeat Colby Covington. I think Usman has just widened the skill gap significantly over the last 2 years. He was better than Colby originally, and he's just gotten better. Meanwhile, he's been super active, and Colby's been inactive. Colby has one win since their original fight against Tyron Woodley, who's no longer in the UFC. And Usman has 3 wins, I believe. Usman's fought Jorge Masvidal twice and Burns once. So you know what I mean? And he's looked more impressive. And I know people say, oh, well, Jorge Masvidal did deserve a title shot when he fought him the first time on short notice. And then just to clear up the air on the late notice step in, they gave him a rematch and he beat him again. And Jorge Masvidal is a great fighter. He just doesn't have what it takes to beat Kamaru Usman. So to get 3 quality wins over guys like Masvidal and Burns, meanwhile Colby's fought once in 2 years against Tyron Woodley, I just think Kamaru Usman's going to be able to beat him. And I just don't see a path to victory for Colby. Let me know in the chat, who are you guys picking in the Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington rematch? I'm genuinely curious if anyone's picking Colby, because I genuinely just don't feel like it. Feel like they are. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see that happen. I might think about going to it if it's in New York City. That's only like 4 hours from me. So I may try to go to it. I don't know for sure yet. But who knows? If you guys keep sending me super chats, I'll go to UFC 268 in New York. You guys want to buy my ticket, just hit the little donation button at the bottom. And you can buy my ticket to go see Colby versus Kamaru Usman. But who knows? It might not happen. It's just rumored to happen in New York. But who knows what's going on right now. I think everyone favors Usman to beat Colby. Agreed. Put Ngannou in the card or Stipe. What card are you talking about? UFC 268? I doubt that happens. Colby versus Usman is probably going to be the headliner. And I wouldn't mind if they did Whitaker versus Adesanya in there as well. So I don't think that's going to happen. That's probably two huge fights. But if it does stick around at MSG, I think there's a chance they do that. Colby should have been more active. Usman is stronger, but Colby's a better wrestler. We shall see, though. It's like the first fight is going to be a banger. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun fight for sure. I don't think Colby was a better wrestler. Why didn't he try to wrestle Usman in the first fight? I think they both knew it was going to get him nowhere. I'd like to see it, though. I'd love to see him try. I just don't see an avenue to victory for Colby. Picking Usman, but hopefully it's a good fight. Supposedly Colby was winning on the judges' scorecards on Usman versus Colby 1. Now, I don't think that's true. I'm not confident, but I don't think that's true. I think they had Usman up 3-1, or 2 judges did. I can't remember. I remember seeing people were a little bit mad about the scorecards. I thought it was 2-2, personally. I kind of want Colby to win so Masvidal and Masvidal can go at it on tough. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. I don't really have a desire for that, you know. If Usman beats him, we can still see Masvidal versus Colby. It'll make a lot of sense. Both guys can fight each other. They're both coming off losses to Usman, and it would make a lot of sense. Colby needs to improve his striking versus Usman. Agreed, 100%. Where do you live? I live in Maryland. Yeah, Colby is dumb. Kept laughing Usman for being a D2 wrestler. Yeah, Colby's gimmick is it's not for me at all. And Usman isn't like the best trash talker, but the last time Colby tried to say something to him, Usman just said, "I broke your face," and it really got Colby pissed. So I mean, how can you talk shit to a guy that broke your jaw and knocked you out? I just don't see it. One judge had it 3-1 Usman. Two judges had it 2-2. Thank you, Chimney. Thank you, Chimney. I appreciate the clarity because it's hard to Google some of this stuff while I'm on the chat. Colby knocked the wind out of Usman and then he claimed nut shot. Yeah, well, Colby faked an eye poke when he got his jaw broke, so I say it's all even. What do you think about that? Colby faked an eye poke when he got his jaw broke. What would you say about that? Colby was screaming. Yeah, he started screaming. I did see that. You know, he was screaming at the top of his lungs. And, hold on a second. He was screaming at the top of his lungs when Usman kept saying, "I broke your face." I just don't see, you know, it's just like Conor talking shit to Dustin in the lead up to the trilogy. This guy just murked you not that long ago. And, you know, for him to, you know, sit there and try to talk shit to him, like, I don't get it, man. Imagine that. I just broke your jaw, dude. I finished you. You know, you can say what you want. I get what you guys are saying. I don't know. It looked like it could have been. But, you know, he got the wind knocked out of him. He faked the nut shot. Colby faked an eye poke when Usman broke his jaw. Colby faked an eye poke. I'm curious what you guys think of that. Let's see. One judge had Usman winning 3 rounds. The other judge had Colby winning 3 rounds. And one judge had it 2-2. Okay. If you asked me before Usman Masvidal won, I would say Colby. But now Usman would abuse Colby. Agreed. Conor is a fool. I can't wait until he fights again and gets destroyed. Yeah, I think the UFC will give Conor a warm-up fight in his return. I don't know who it will be against. And it's going to be hard. But they'll give him someone like Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Maybe we'll get to see Conor McGregor versus Diego Sanchez finally. Conor wanted that fight so badly. At least Colby faked an eye poke at the end of the round, not in the middle of a round where someone could have capitalized. Hey, there was still a little bit of time left. So it is what it is. All I'm saying is, you know, how can you be upset about one guy doing something when the other guy did the same exact thing? You know, we can agree to disagree. You guys can think, okay, well, if it wasn't for that. But I don't think Colby was close to finishing him, just like I don't think Usman was going to finish him right there when he broke the jaw. If I had to, you know, say which one was closer, I would say Usman had a better chance of finishing him after Colby was faking the eye poke and running away. But either way, I mean, I think Usman was going to win. He stopped him eventually anyway. I don't think Colby was going to stop him off that body shot, and it might have grazed the cup. It might have. I just can't see Usman losing to Colby. I just can't either. I just don't see the avenue to victory for Colby. What's he going to do, swarm him? And maybe he'll surprise me. And I think Colby's a legit fighter. I think he's one of the best welterweights in the world. But I just don't see the avenue to victory for Colby. And you look at, you know, Colby's striking, and the reason his volume works so well is because fighters are scared of his takedown ability, and Usman is not. He does not care about Colby's takedowns, because he has nothing to fear with the takedowns, the same way Colby doesn't have to worry about the takedowns. So I just don't see how he gets his striking off. Usman's the superior striker, in my opinion. So without the threat of the takedown, it doesn't help. So they should give Conor Tony Ferguson. That's the fight I've been campaigning for. You can always tell when Conor is salty, he won't say nothing. Remember when Alvarez said welfare is for women, not grown men? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Nate Diaz got him a couple times. Where he had nothing to say. Where does Usman go next if he laps the welterweight competition? I don't know, because if he beats Colby next, then he beats Leon Edwards, and then he beats Burns in a rematch. Unless Robert Whittaker snatches the belt back from Adesanya, I don't know where Usman can go. He can just keep beating up new guys, I guess. What's going on, Rusty Pit Gaming? Appreciate you joining the chat, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Throw some more questions in the chat. I just, for me, I just feel like my confidence in Kamaru Usman is an all-time high. And I just don't know. I just can't I can't physically imagine a way that Colby wins. I just can't. I think Usman's going to finish him this time around. Not that he didn't finish him the first time, but he's going to finish him quicker than he did before. Who do you think Joanna Jędrzejczyk should fight next? Let's see. Who do I think Joanna should fight next? Give me the Weili Zhang rematch. I mean, who doesn't want to see that? It was one of the greatest fights ever. Think about Usman versus Burns. He stunned Usman in the fight immediately. Colby would swarm him if he was in Burns' position. Yeah, but I don't think Colby has the power to hurt him like that. Colby had, and this is not me just being a Colby hater. This is unbiased review of what I've personally seen. Colby does not have the power to do that. I just don't. I mean, maybe he could, but it's if you hit a guy on the right spot, you can. But I just think it's very slim that he hurts Usman with his hands. Very, very slim. I think Colby's best shot would be maybe rocking him with a head kick or something, and he could definitely swarm him from there. But I just don't see him hurting him with his hands like that. You guys are not ready for Prime. Okay. Do you bet on fights? No, I do not. I very rarely do. I'll say I very rarely do. I have not bet on a fight in a while. And it doesn't really appeal to me at all. I just don't like losing money on fights. But honestly, if you look at my pick record for main events this year, I should have been betting on fights. I think I'm 19-5 at this point in time with all UFC main events for the year. So that's pretty damn good. I should have been betting them. When Jon Jones makes his heavyweight debut, who would you pair him up with? Anybody. Give me Jon Jones versus Cyril Gane. Give me Jon Jones versus Derek Lewis. Give me Jon Jones versus Curtis Blades. Give me Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou. I love all the matchups. They're all compelling to me. I just want to see Jon Jones at heavyweight. But if you're asking me if I was making the decisions, which fight compels me the most, Francis Ngannou. I would love to see Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou. The second that fight's booked, I'm going to probably have to go to that one. I don't care how much it costs. I mean, that fight is so intriguing to me. You have Jon Jones, who's so well-rounded and such a great fighter. And you have Francis Ngannou, who just has ungodly power. So, that's the fight I want to see badly. So, but to answer your question, every single fight interests me. Stephen Thompson is pissed about Colby Covington getting the Usman rematch. Yeah, I mean, Wonderboy Thompson can be mad all he wants, but at the end of the day, how many times has Wonderboy fought and lost, and then afterwards say, I should have let my hands go. So I don't want to hear the complaints. You had a chance to steal a title shot from Colby Covington. You could have went out there and you could have just starched Gilbert Burns, and people would have been saying, give me Wonderboy versus Usman next. But instead, you backed up, you got taken down repeatedly, you got clinched up repeatedly, and you didn't let your hands go. So you gave Colby the shot, and that's your fault. So go cry about it, my friend. What's going on with Justin Gaethje? Hopefully a Michael Chandler fight, but I think he's kind of waiting out to see what goes on with the lightweight division. Colby doesn't deserve the title shot. Since he lost to Usman, he fought an old and withered Tyron Woodley, and now he gets a second title shot. Meanwhile, Usman defended 3 to 4 times. Yes, he defended 3 times. I will say this. Colby does not unequivocally deserve a title shot, but I don't have a problem with him getting a title shot. There's nobody in the division right now that's an open and shut case that deserves a title shot. Colby had a great first fight with him, so he's getting the rematch, and that's it. I don't think that's the right, path. But there's no other guy that really deserves it. Gilbert Burns has fought 1 fight since losing to Usman. You look at Leon Edwards and look at the level of competition he's fought. So I would have had no problem with Colby getting passed up for Leon Edwards. I have no problem with Leon Edwards getting passed up for Colby. There's nobody, there's nobody really that is getting hurt in this scenario, So realistically, I banned that guy, by the way. Realistically, I'm not going to cry for anyone. I'm not going to cry for Leon Edwards. I wouldn't have cried for Colby. None of these guys have done enough to deserve the title shot in an open and shut case. So, what's going on? Hold on a second. I'm getting lost here. What's going on, Nick Hammond? I appreciate you joining the chat, my friend. I appreciate you stopping by. Colby's done for. We'll see. I don't know if he's done for. You could tell in some situation Kamaru was a little rocked. Great poker face. I don't know, man. I got to go back and rewatch. I watched it a couple times after the fact, but I would have to go back. Colby is the only chance for a new champ in that division. I really think if Usman wins, he isn't losing the belt. I think Burns has the best chance of beating Usman. I know that sounds crazy considering Usman just stopped him, but in my opinion, he's the style matchup. He can make some adjustments. I'd love to see them run that back eventually. I feel like Jones should get number one contender before the title shot, in my opinion. I get what you're saying. I think I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you at all. I just really want to see him fight for the title. Not because it's the title. I just want to see him fight Francis Ngannou. But I understand, he's moving up a weight class. Should Cody drop to 125 or stay? I keep saying he's dropping down. He is dropping down. Supposedly, there's been speculation that he's going to fight Kai Kara France, and there's been speculation he's going to fight Brandon Moreno next. So we'll see. Jones would have to wrestle Ngannou or try to pick him apart. Usman would have destroyed Thompson. Agreed. After seeing that Gilbert Burns fight, Usman would have been able to wreck him in the grappling department. Pity Gaming said he's dropping down to fight. Oh, hold on. I thought I banned. Okay, the guy can continue to send messages, but he's banned from the channel. I must have put him in a timeout. I thought I banned him. So there we go. He is now going away. I don't get it. I don't get why people do that, but that's fine, I guess. Let's make sure all these go away. Okay, I think we got rid of them all. That's crazy. I was reading all these messages and this guy's coming back. Oh my goodness. That's fine. That's fine. I'll keep ridiculous. Ridiculous for no reason, too. For no reason. I got to figure out how to turn on that setting where you have to subscribe to do that. Somebody figure out how do I turn on the setting where you have to be subscribed to send messages. I want to scroll up and read the questions, but I want to be here to ban him if he comes. Let's see. Okay, I'm going back up to these questions, guys. But it's just pointless. I don't get it. It's not really helping anyone per se. It's just stupid. Okay, let's go back up. Oh, I feel like Jones. Okay, I already read that. Did you do a breakdown of Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor? No, I did not, but I would favor Tony. Leon Edwards deserves it. He hasn't fought in anyone in the top 5. So I can't say he unequivocally deserves it. I feel like Leon is next after Colby. Definitely, I think Leon should fight Gilbert Burns next. Deserve. Nobody deserved nothing. Exactly. Jones has earned a chance for the belt. GSP didn't have to fight Romero or Whitaker when he moved up. Agreed. We knew he wasn't going to do that. That's true, yeah. He's going to make another fake page. I guess, whoa. I didn't see this guy's name. I just don't really care for Burns. It's a personal thing, but he just talks nonsense. Y'all some hater. Okay, thank you, thank you, Tiramisu. I like Burns' style. I'm not like the biggest fan of Burns, but I like watching him fight for sure. Can't wait to see Hamzat again. That'll be on UFC 267. Was hoping he would be a contender against Usman. If he gets beats Li Jingliang, he's probably going to fight someone in the top 10, then a title shot. So essentially, he's 2 fights away from a title shot. He's just going to Torrin Brown. Again, he is back. Okay. It's Mo. Joaquin Buckley. Thank you for Jockling Buckley, thanks for joining the chat. Jockling. Or is it Wackling? Hamzat versus Holland at 85 would be nutty in my opinion. Hamzat would beat the brakes off of Kevin Holland. Beat the brakes off him. Don't give him anything. Yep, that's what I was just banning. Exactly, yep. Well, we need a new contender at 175. 170. Yeah, we definitely do. I don't know who. Let's see who's making their way up, who I would think could be a future contender. I don't really see it. I don't see it right now. Vicente Luque or Michael Chiesa, I think they both probably lose to Usman. If I had to pick one, I prefer to see against Usman. I would probably like to see probably Vicente Luque. Let's see. John, are you still in this chat? Do me a favor. I just added you as a moderator. If you see any of those messages pop up, hide user from channel. Hide user from channel for me. Because I'm trying to read these messages. If you're not there, then I don't know. I'll keep an eye out. But it's just weird that he's doing this. I don't get it. It's pointless. But yeah, we definitely. I don't see any contenders at 170. I mean, you look at the division. There's nobody. Jeff Neal's not beating him. Neil Magny's not going against Usman. Bilal Muhammad, Damian Maia, no. Li Jingliang, no. Santiago Ponzinibbio. Sean Brady's so far away. There's nobody. There's literally nobody. So, yep, you can do hide from channel. Do that for me, my friend. Do that for me. If you see him pop up with anything else. I'm a fan of the idea of upping the welterweight limit to 175 and opening a new 65-pound division. Thoughts? I'm resistant to change, man. I don't like the thought of adding new divisions. I don't know. I don't have any real reasoning behind it. I get it. People want classes every 10 pounds, but I just don't want. I just like what we have. You know, I don't want to dilute it too much. Well, Nate Diaz in 1 minute after losing for 24 proved Leon isn't getting a shot. If I said it before the fight, if Leon Edwards went in there and starched Nate Diaz, he was going to get the next title shot, and I don't think he deserved it for beating Nate Diaz. If you didn't think, I said this exact line. If you don't think Leon Edwards deserves a title shot before Nate Diaz, you shouldn't think he deserves it after the fact. I think so. I don't know. I got to look it up, Ginge. I got to look it up, my friend, but I think so. I need to figure out, there's a way to turn on, if someone can Google this for me while I respond to questions. There's a setting where you can turn on only subscribers can participate in the live chat. Let me know how to turn that on, because I think that would help with trolls. So if you guys know how to turn that on, let me know. Someone look it up for me. I'd really appreciate it. Bilal, I don't think Bilal's ever competing with Usman. I don't think Bilal's ever competing with Usman at all. Speaking of Buckley, I wonder when the guy is fighting again. I have no idea. I don't think he's ever really going to be a contender anyway. He had that spectacular spinning kick, but I mean, that's going to be his claim to fame. Who you got on Robbie Lawler versus Nick Diaz? That's a tough fight to pick. I'm going Robbie Lawler just because of the inactivity in Nick Diaz. I just think that, you know, Robbie Lawler, while he's declining, he's been around. But I just think, you know, Nick Diaz has been out for so long. He could come back and be better than ever. But it's hard for me to pick him after being off for so many years. Buckley is booked, I think. I missed that. Man, adding more divisions will turn into boxing belts. Everywhere with interim champs and the real champ. Yeah, I don't like that at all either. I'm resistant to change. I'm just scared we're going to create a problem that we don't need. No, Alex, there's a way to turn on where only subscribers can participate. I wish I could figure it out. Wish I could figure it out how to do it, but I don't know how to. There's a way to turn it on where only subscribers can participate. So if he wants to subscribe, go to Live Control Room. I have no idea where that's at. Let me see if I can find that. Don't forget, Luke took the real bull in submission. You got to watch that video. Luke Rocco versus Bull. I don't know. Going to Google real quick. Thank you, guys whose name I don't know how to pronounce. I still believe Luckily can make some noise. Joey, don't dance on his grave so fast. Have you heard that expression before, or did you hear that from me? Go to live control room from your live stream. Click edit. Click live chat under who can send a message. Select subscribers. Edit. Okay, I'm looking. I don't know where it's at. I'm looking for it. Live chat, okay. There we go. I found it. I found it, my friends. I found it. Thank you guys so much. I found it. So now only subscribers can participate in the chat. Thank you guys. I found it. Thank you, Events Crypto. You're the man. Thank you for anyone who looked it up. So only subscribers who have been subscribed for at least 5 minutes can participate in the live chat. So now that's pretty much impossible. Okay. So thank you so much, Events Crypto. Okay, Chimney. Shavat Romanov gives Usman a hard time in the next couple of years. We'll see, man. We'll see. Thinking of it, it wouldn't stop him as he will just sub and troll. Well, he needs to be subscribed for at least 5 minutes. So he'll have to subscribe to me with 10 different channels, wait 5 minutes, and then go. Once McGregor returns, he should fight Tony or have his trilogy with Nate. I agree with you 100%. I think that's the fight to make. I am the difference. How the stream going? It's going great. We had some trolls, but I figured out a way. To stop them. And Events Crypto helped me out. Events Crypto helped me out a lot, and other people were Googling it for me. I appreciate all you guys for looking it up. Gaming, I would much rather see Conor versus Tony. Tired of seeing Conor fight Nate. I love both of those fights, so I wouldn't be opposed to either one. But it's one of those things where, you know, who knows what's going to happen by the time Conor returns. So luckily, I'm just laughing because that troll now he has to subscribe if he wants to spam my chat. So he can make my subscribers go up, and then I can ban him. So yeah, true. I still would like to see the trilogy before one of them retire. Agreed. I rewatched that Sandhagen Dillashaw fight. I thought it was a robbery at first, but it was a lot closer. I thought it was close, but I also thought that that Sandhagen clearly won. I just thought he got rounds 2, 4, and 5, and I don't think it was up for debate. I understand that people see it differently, but I just feel like it's really open and shut. Usman also was fine trying to fight Chiesa instead of Colby. I mean, come on, ha ha ha. I think that was just games he was playing around. I mean, he was going to take the fight with Colby, regardless of what was going to happen. If the UFC wanted it, that's what they were going to do. You know, so let's see. Okay, I already seen that. Keep filling the chat with as many questions as you physically can. I want to have so many questions. I think I'm getting a troll. Okay. Ferguson versus McGregor is the fight to make, though, I think. I agree, but it could be a while. It could be next summer till McGregor's back, so who knows what's going to happen. Do you ever plan on making this a full-time thing? 100%. If I can make this a full-time thing, I'll do live streams every single day. So it's a combination of my ad revenue from videos. So I got to get a lot of views on my videos. Donations from the Super Chat, which if you guys want to help support the channel, just go down and donate in the Super Chat. Then other things like potential like merchandise sales. You could sell shirts, stuff like that. And then once you get maybe 10,000 subs, you can get like sponsors, like small sponsored payments. So if I can get all those type of monetization streams going, then I will be here on here live streaming every single day. And I will do so many videos your head will be spinning. So to answer your question, yes. But we'll see. It might take a little bit. Nate is just another easy win for Conor. I think Nate Diaz beats Conor. Do you have mods yet? I did not, but one of my friends, John, I made a mod real quick when all the crazy stuff was going on. But when I do need mods eventually, when there's a bunch of random people trolling, we got Ginge, we got my friend John, we got I Am the Defense. If you guys want to be mods, you guys are going to be my mods when I got a couple hundred people in here. I don't think we see McGregor fight a Tony Ferguson or a Justin G. Who knows? Probably not. He'll probably come back and fight Diego Sanchez. I said that before. I don't think at this time anymore, Torin. Even when Conor won the rematch, it was pretty close. Yeah, I thought Nate Diaz beat him in the rematch. I think Nate Diaz beats him in the trilogy, too. This time at lightweight, I doubt it. I bet you it has to welterweight again. The better Diaz brother, I'll say Nate, but I'm not. I think they're very similar. We will have to see where the landscape of 155 will be in a year. We won't see Conor until 2022, early 2023. Didn't Cowboy say he would want another lightweight fight before retiring? If so, who would you pair him up with in the top 15? Let's see. Who would I match him up with in the top 15? Jeez, that's tough, man. I don't want to see him fight anyone. Maybe Dan Hooker? I don't really want to see him fight anyone. I think he's going to lose to everyone in the top 15. Don't give out mods just yet. People get mods and never come back to support. Yeah, well, I'm not really giving out mods just yet. I just needed help for a second. John is one of my friends in real life. Even though he's an idiot, I figured he could help me out real quick because I was up at the top trying to read questions, and then the spamming was happening in the bottom, so that's why I missed it. And so if he was looking at the chat, he could see it for me. So, but when I get if I get 10,000 subscribers, I might have 200, 300 people in here, and then I'm really going to need help. And I Am the Defense is a guy who's been around supporting for a while, but I'm sure there's some of you guys who will help me out if it ever gets to that point where I really need it. Diego wins by death touch. Yeah, Diego by death touch against Conor McGregor. Gaethje versus Chandler should headline a fight night card before the end of 2021. I'm down for it 100%. Donald Cerrone versus Dustin P would be good. Yeah, right. Stop trolling. Whoever wins gets the next title shot after Dustin. Stop. I hope Nick looks like his old self. I'm worried the CTE did him like Chuck Liddell. I really hope not, my friend. I really, really hope not. I do not want to see that at all. I would really like to see Nick Diaz in decent shape. I think he'll be in good shape. But I hope he's not a shell of himself and just comes out and gets wrecked. But I think they matched him up with the right matchup in Robbie Lawler. No one ever knocked out Masvidal in a beautiful fashion. I think Usman is invisible. He knocked out Burns. Crazy year for this guy. Fighter of the year. He definitely has 2 quality wins. You know, I know people want to shit on Masvidal, but Masvidal had a good little streak before he met Usman twice. Hooker versus Cowboy would be good, but yeah, realistically, and sadly, I don't see Cowboy winning anymore. Yeah, I want to see Cowboy retired or in Bellator. I had no interest in that Conor McGregor fight. Tony Ferguson, okay, would be another good rematch. I think Ferguson wins, though. Yeah, good rematch for who? Tony Ferguson would wipe the floor with Cowboy, in my opinion. I think Tony's still good. He's fighting top guys, and that's why he's getting destroyed. Think about Khabib ruined Tony's whole career pulling out the fight and took that beating from Justin. Very true. Very true. But who knows? Khabib would have put a beating on him like that anyway. Which card do you think Adesanya versus Whitaker 2 is going to be on? I actually mentioned this earlier in the chat, I'm the Defense. I think there's a slight chance if the UFC is doing the fight card in New York, UFC 268, Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. If they're doing it at MSG, they really like to stack those cards, sometimes with multiple title fights. And there's a chance they put Adesanya Whitaker 2 on that card as well. I don't know which one would be the headliner. And maybe they're still waiting to finalize something like that. But I think that's a real possibility. If not, I don't know where else we see it, really. Because 265 is right around the corner. That's Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane. Then 266 is Ortega versus Volkanovski, and I think that has Valentina on there. Then you have 267, which already has 2 title fights. So it would have to be UFC 268 or UFC 269. 100%. So it's either happening in November, December. I'm going to guess, and I am the difference. I want you to remember this because nobody else is saying this right now. I predict that Adesanya versus Whitaker 2 is on the same card as Colby versus Usman 2, unless there's some injury to another pay-per-view main event. Because Adesanya likes to stay active. So he's not going to sit around until next year. He's going to fight the end of this year. If it doesn't happen at 268, it's going to happen at 269, the December card. Izzy wants to fight in New Zealand. Yep, well, maybe they'll do that in December. That's a possibility, too. That's why I mentioned that. Hooker versus RDA. I want to see RDA versus Islam. Cowboy should retire. Agreed. Hooker versus Cowboy is putting a cow out to pasture. Yeah, Cowboy would get wrecked. Alexander Volkov is available. Wish Stipe and him would fight. That wouldn't be a bad fight at all. I like that. You know, Volkov just recently got beat by Gon. Stipe just got beat by Ngannou. Stipe needs a win. Volkov needs a win. That'd be a fun heavyweight matchup. Izzy looks like he's training mode lately. I see UFC 268 in November. Yeah, nobody else has mentioned that yet but me. I've not seen that speculated anywhere. Max versus Ortega 2 if Ortega wins. Definitely, without a doubt, Tetrick Henry. Henry, did you change your name or are you new in here? So appreciate you, man, for subscribing and being part of the chat unless you changed your name and you were someone else before. They should put Ferguson on that Usman Colby card. Do Tony Ferguson versus Hooker. Give me Colby versus Usman 2. Whitaker versus Adesanya 2. Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz, 5 rounds, all on the same card, MSG. They like to stack them MSG cards. And that would be a crazy fight card. All 3 of those fights together, I think that's what they should do. True or false, Dana is protecting Sean O'Malley. True. Without a doubt, he's protecting him. Sean O'Malley's all talk. They're not giving him a ranked fight. Hopefully next we get to see him against a ranked opponent. But if he doesn't fight a ranked guy next, he might as well go be fighting in Bellator. UFC is just trying to grow him and give him, winnable matchups until they think he can hang with the top ranked guys. What do you think the most boring division at the moment is? My opinion is light heavyweight. Rusty Pity Gaming, you are smoking some crack right now, my friend. And I'll tell you why. But if that's what you think, that's fine. But I disagree with you very, very much. First off, I think the most boring divisions right now is easy to say. It's women's featherweight. It's non-existent. And if you think that's a cop-out, then I'll go women's flyweight. I love seeing Valentina Shevchenko fight, but there's no competition for her. And then if you want to go men's division, I don't think there's a boring men's division, honestly. And the reason I don't think light heavyweight is boring is because you have, Jan Blachowicz versus Glover, which isn't it's a fight I'm excited for, but it's not a crazy matchup. But you have guys like Yuri Prochaska coming up the rankings, Alexander Rakic. Yuri Prochaska may be the most exciting fighter in the UFC right now. So I think light heavyweight's very good. But I get what you're saying. If there's one division that just is not full, it's probably that. Would Ferguson versus Diaz be at 155 or 170? I'd like it at 155, but my guess is it happens at 170. Thoughts on Tai Tuivasa versus Walt Harris? I have no interest. I don't care about that fight at all. Walt Harris must have lost like 6 fights in a row by now. Tai Tuivasa hasn't really beat anyone. If you had to give me the most boring division, honestly, outside the top 3, heavyweight is trash. The heavyweight division is so terrible and thin. It's so many fighters, but they're feeding to the wolves in that bantamweight division. Ricky Simone would maul Sean easy. I don't know if he'd maul him easy, but I'd like to see that matchup. But bantamweight's the most stacked division in the UFC, in my opinion. In my opinion, men's flyweight is boring. Stop. Brandon Moreno is a lot of fun. So is Davison Figueiredo. Let's see. Yeah, Yuri is an absolute animal. I think Ferguson Diaz would be at 170 almost for sure. I'd like to see it at 155, but both those guys, are just, they're going to fight at 170. They're not going to want to cut weight. Light heavyweight needs a little bit more spark in my eye. I agree with you, man. The division is not that great, but you look at the top 4 or 5 guys, and it's fun. It's fun, but it's probably the worst division outside of heavyweight. I'll give you that. I will give you that 100%. But Yuri Prochazka, Alexander Rakic, I think are the future of the division for sure. Let me pull up something real quick. Can you? I always ask this every chat. I'm always terrified. I'm doing this live chat and I'm missing some type of news. So if you guys can check, make sure there's no breaking news for me right now that I'm totally missing. Make sure there's nothing I'm actually missing right now. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. I like heavyweight. We got Lewis, Ngannou, Miocic, and Jones, who's close to a debut. I like heavyweight too. I'm just saying the division as far as talent, outside of those guys, it's very, very barren. It's very, very barren. I think it's the worst division in the UFC, but it does have some fun fighters in it. I'm not shitting on them. Holly Holm versus Verna Dormont just announced at 145. Why is Holly Holm wasting her career at a weight class that means nothing? Oh, I have no idea why. Maybe she's going to hoping to fall into another title shot. Holly Holm's got so many undeserved title shots, it's not even funny. Damn, that's a fight I'm dying to see. Conor versus Ferguson. I can just picture it in fun. How fun that fight would be going on at the feet. Yeah, agreed. I would love that fight. Imagine the press conference would be a lot of fun too. Damn it. I want Tate versus Holm. UFC is protecting Tate. They want to feed her into another title shot. They didn't want Holm beating her up. I'll tell you that right now. That's 100% what's going on. By the way, guys, I was talking about all the stuff I bought for this channel. I am sitting in a Herman Miller office chair that I bought so I could do these live streams. I had an old office chair. It would have killed my back if I sat in it for more than 20 minutes. These Herman Miller office chairs, I've seen they're the best reviewed chairs online. And they're like $1,500. I found someone that had like an office that closed down or something, and they were selling it for $400. So I bought this office chair. I could literally sit in this thing for 6 hours and not get any back pain. So I recommend, I know I Am the Difference asked me about it before. I 100% recommend a Herman Miller Aeron office chair. It's so comfortable. Super comfortable. I could sit in this thing all day. To be honest, Holly's overrated. She got big one over Ronda, has never been the same. Yeah, she's definitely overrated, but she's still a quality fighter. She's got skills, but she's not. I don't think she's very exciting at all. A lot of people feel Tony Ferguson would have to wrestle Conor in order to beat him because he has nothing for Conor standing. I think that's a lie. Ferguson can hang with him standing. I don't think Ferguson can hang with him standing per se. I think he has to weather the early storm, and then he will swarm him with combinations. So early, I think Tony has to be very, very careful. Tony's very, very hittable. But if he can survive the first round, he can maul Conor on the feet. Once Conor starts to get a little bit tired, the pressure, Tony, I love that fight. I think a few women bantamweight fighters should move up to featherweight. Who wants to they can get mauled at Nunes at featherweight or bantamweight. Featherweight doesn't exist. Close the division down, in my opinion. Talk with Alex. Who would you pick? Okay. Is Wonderboy ever getting a title shot? He is trying to make the case. No, he's never getting one. Wonderboy would never fight for a title. He lost his chance. And he's talking, and I don't even like Colby. You guys know that. But he's talking about Colby didn't deserve a title shot. Wonderboy, you had a chance to take that title shot from Colby. And you decided to not let your hands go for the 18th time. So, do you think Max will move up to 155 eventually? I think he probably does. But I don't know how soon that will be. We saw him versus Dustin, and that was not, the power differential was huge. So I think Max really has to put on some weight for 155. I'm getting my hands on a Herman Miller for sure, dude. Do it. I mean, mine's basically brand new, and I paid $400 for it. So it was used technically, but it was basically brand new, and it's nice. It's comfortable. I love it. How old is Ronda? I forgot her age. I don't know, my friend. I got to look that up myself. Ronda Rousey. She is 34 years old. She is 34 years old, my friend. So you think Conor would win the first round between Tony Ferguson? I don't know if he'd win the first round. He'd win the first 2 minutes, at least. Until Tony maybe started to swarm him. Tony's just super hittable, so it's hard. I think Tony wins. I favor Tony to win the fight. Breaking news, MMA Joey is live. Thank you. If Max fails to get a title from Volkanovski, again, he should move up to lightweight. Probably. He's better hope Ortega wins that fight. Also, what the fuck is Faber talking about calling out TJ? It's weird, 42-year-old, let it go. Yeah, I don't want to see that at all. I miss Crazy Tony. I think he's still there. Tony Ferguson would definitely make McGregor bleed. Best believe that. I think so too. I feel both Leon and Wonderboy had their chance from taking it from Colby, but they flopped. Agreed 100%. I am the defense. If I said this before you were in the chat, if Leon would have starched Nate Diaz, he would have got the next title shot. If Wonderboy would have starched Gilbert Burns, he would have stole the next title shot from Colby. Colby actually did an interview and said, he didn't have a contract in hand until after Wonderboy and Wonderboy lost to Burns. Ferguson versus McGregor, losers retired. Agreed. I'm still crying over Tony versus Justin. Oh my God, I know. He got the break speed off him. And I picked Justin in that fight, by the way. I knew that was going to happen. Because Justin Gaethje has good stamina. How does the welterweight look if we don't have Usman top 5? That's a good question. So let me take a look real quick. So if Usman's gone, I say Gilbert Burns is champion. Colby Covington's first round. So I would say Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Wonderboy Thompson, Vicente Luque, Michael Chiesa, Jorge Masvidal. There you go. I think Gilbert Burns is champion. Conor is amazing in the beginning of fights, but Tony's pace and cardio is too much. Also, Tony has a granite chin. So I don't think that. I just really don't think that, if Conor doesn't stop him in that first round, it's over for Conor. Colby is champ if Usman's gone. I disagree. I think Burns beats Colby, and I think he beats Colby pretty easily. And that's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I'm just being honest with what I think. Let me know, who do you guys think would be champion if Usman was gone? I'm curious. So everyone fill the chat. Every single person in here, comment, who do you think would be the champion if Colby Covington was, not Colby Covington, if Kamaru Usman was gone? Wonderboy versus who would you say? Very good question. Very good question. Wonderboy, give me Wonderboy. He really doesn't have anything right now. Because I want to see Gilbert Burns versus Leon Edwards. So that leaves Wonderboy. He could fight the loser of Chiesa versus Luque, but he's already fought Luque. So it's really hard. Gilbert champ or Colby champ? I agree with that. Granted is an understatement. Sup, what's going on, Nia? Colby. Ferguson has been shy lately. He probably lost his confidence in his chin. I don't know if he's lost his confidence in his chin, but maybe he's doubting himself a little bit after losing three fights in a row. Yeah, finishing Tony is almost impossible. Agreed. Slight edge to Gilbert. Also, Ferguson has been gun shy because look at the guys he's fighting. And a lot of people forgot he almost finished Justin Gaethje in that first round. Slight edge to Gilbert. Okay, I agree with you. I think Gilbert, to be honest, and I know I could be wrong, I'd be confident in my prediction of Gilbert Burns. But MMA math always causes a problem. Who knows who would really be champ? Agreed. Ginge says Burns, Leon Rock Edwards, the Jamaican Killer. Okay, there's a third name. And Leon's very, very good as well. So, Wonderboy versus Bilal, I would say to be honest, Bilal does not impress me at all. I think he just, the skills aren't there for me. I think Colby is second best welterweight. Defo Burns, maybe Edwards, but more likely Burns. Agreed, Tony Chin hasn't failed him. Yep, even the Gaethje fight he held out. I want Leon Edwards versus Jorge Masvidal. If Colby fails against Usman, then book Colby versus George. Yes, I agree with the second one, but I want Leon Edwards versus Burns. What's the point? I get that there's a storyline, and I feel like that fight should have been made years ago. But it's time for Leon versus Burns. But if that fight doesn't happen, give me Leon versus Masvidal. I'll take it. Bilal Instagram is a gold. Check it out. I'm not sure what that means, but I will. Bilal is a journeyman. Agreed. Colby versus George is a fight to make if Colby loses. For sure. Joey, I think Tony isn't dying to get back in the cage because he would be cut. The UFC is ruthless in getting rid of fighters that are aging and losing. Yeah, and the reason they're doing that, especially with some of these other high-profile names, is because they don't want to pay them. They don't want to pay guys that are losing fights. So Tony Ferguson makes more than a guy who's just coming in. So why pay him? Bantamweight is stacked. Can't wait for Clown Master Sterling to lose to No Mercy. Then book Petr Yan versus TJ Dillashaw in Russia. I doubt that happens in Russia, but I agree with you. I'd love to see TJ versus Petr. Bilal is a joke. Goes to a decision with Maya and calls for Colby next. And then Bilal, man, that guy, he just lost some respect for me. He went out and put on that piss poor performance against Damian Maia, who's like 65. And then he talks about Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz and said, if I was Leon, I would have finished him. Like, dude, you couldn't even handle Damian Maia, who's like 65 years old. Shut up. Yeah, the guy comes off very, very unlikable. Bilal didn't really have a good showing in the fight versus Maia. Was average, but I think he has potential. I don't see any potential in Bilal. And maybe I don't know anything. Maybe I'm just stupid. But it's hard for me to say that Bilal looks impressive whatsoever. He just doesn't look good. And to have that type of trouble with Maia is just atrocious. But then again, Colby had trouble with Maia as well. Not as much trouble, but he had a little bit of trouble. Sean O'Malley asked for CM Punk in Chicago. Isn't he awesome, Dana? Yeah, that comment got you a lot of likes, I remember. I pinned it up to the top. I'm hyped for Kevin Holland's return. He's been working on his wrestling, so I'm confident he'll make a huge comeback. If he can defend the takedowns, he can be a serious threat. But I don't know. Oh, man, I'm just laughing at this guy's name. I've read it a couple times, and I'm just getting a good laugh at it. If he can start defending takedowns, he can make some noise in the middleweight division. Jose Aldo versus Dominic Cruz. That'd be a very, very fun fight. But Jose Aldo's booked up with Pedro Munoz next. Maia's old, and the fight with him is always a grind because he's really the definition of holding the leg. I agree, it's not an easy fight, but it's just, I think it really looks dumb when you call out a guy for not finishing a guy, and that's the way you looked against Damian Maia. I think Damian should be getting more respect. He isn't an easy fight night out. Yeah, I don't think he's an easy night out. But I'm saying when he has as much trouble as he did, and then to call out another guy who did perform much better than you did, I think it's a bad look for you. O'Malley is a weed salesman. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I've seen clips of his podcast, and his background looks disgusting, like some dirty alley or some shit. I know that's intentional, but it just doesn't look good to me at all. I love how Islam says everyone is Ducker and then straight up ducks Hooker. Yeah, I think he's hoping for a bigger fight. I think he fight Hooker if that's the only option. I think Dom should just retire. He had his win, his last fight. Go out with dignity. Yeah, I don't know how much longer Dominic Cruz has in the game, and he didn't even look that great against Casey Kennedy. That fight was not very good at all. Yeah, I need to update my name. Haven't used this nickname in about 5 years. Did you ever have a channel? Was it a channel? How did Leon Edwards manage to be on a 9-fight winning streak and still not fight for the title? Because he hasn't fought anyone notable. He should have fought someone in the top 5. And maybe that isn't his fault, because he was supposed to fight Woodley. But that's the reason. Definitely intentional. He's purposely going for the trashy look. Yeah, it's not appeasing to me. I don't like to look at that at all. I would never watch that. I've seen clips, but that's it. I went back and counted the number of live chats I did. And I'm going to start numbering them. This is live chat number 14, guys. Live chat number 14. Because Nate was losing 24 minutes and provide 1 minute why Leon doesn't deserve it. Yep. Yeah, I posted a video right after that, and I did a play on words. If you guys remember, Nate Diaz said, when he called out Conor McGregor, he said, "You took everything I worked for." And I did a video saying Nate Diaz took everything Leon Edwards worked for at UFC, whatever, 263, I think it was. Because everyone only remembers that last minute rock. They don't remember anything else. So Leon Edwards lost all that good work he did in that fight just by getting rocked. He got rocked by Nate in the final stages. Nah, I tried with a channel, but it never really worked out. It's hard, man. It's very, very hard. Somehow I got to 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. I thought if I ever got to 1,000 subscribers, I thought it'd probably take a year, maybe 2 years. Honestly, that's what I genuinely thought. I thought maybe I might have 100 subscribers by now, at best case scenario. But somehow, not only do I have over 1,000 subscribers, I got people that like to live chat with me about MMA, which is absolutely insane to me. There's people sending me donations. It blows my mind. It's hard, man. It's hard running a YouTube channel. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes learning. And then also there's a lot of people who want to get in your videos and comment negative stuff. I just laugh. About it. But Sky Rusty Pity Gaming. It sounded like a channel to me. Yeah, but Leon was lighting Nate up for 4.5 rounds. I agree. You're speaking to the choir here. Preaching to the choir. But that's what happens, man. People see that where he gets hurt badly and they forgot about everything else. Remember Max calling out DC, "You're eating everything I worked for." Yes, I do. Excuse me. I think he knew Leon was hurt bad, but let off. Nate knew the next fight if he finished Leon, big title shot. Yeah. Usman was probably licking his lips in that moment, praying. I think if Nate would have went after him, he probably could have finished him, which would have been insanity. Absolutely pandemonium. Nate Diaz would have stole Colby Covington's title shot and then got wrecked against Usman. Everyone can see through Colby right now. He is like that guy who bought a car and suddenly the car isn't beautiful and now he's stuck. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you talking about his little gimmick? MMA is such a cool topic, though. There's so much to discuss. Yes, I agree. It's a fun topic. I mean, I have endless content to talk about, and the fact that you guys even care about my opinion is mind blowing to me. You know, this is all still so new to me. Alex knows how it is, man. Isn't it weird? Isn't it extremely strange getting on camera and filming yourself talking? It is so weird. I'm still getting used to it. I feel bad for Leon. I feel bad for Leon, too, because he lost the Woodley fight for no fault of his own. Then he was forced into the Khamzat fight 3 times over, and that would have been a big win for him. And the UFC probably would have given him a title shot for beating Khamzat because they didn't. Hold on, because they wanted Khamzat so badly to get a title shot, and they forced Leon to take it. That if Leon would have beat Khamzat, they probably would have returned the favor and give him a title shot. Nate was a showman in that fight. He really wasn't interested in winning, I don't think. I'm not sure. MMA is the best sport in the world. Agreed. Conor purchased a yacht with no wheelchair access. That's hilarious. Did anybody see that video? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, guys. Let me see if I can pull this video up real quick so you guys can get a good laugh. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Let's see if I can get this. if you see that woman walks out of the door and she gets hit by somebody on a motor scooter. Somebody posted that and said when Conor McGregor sees when Conor McGregor sees Jolie Poirier. So it was like saying Conor would run her over with his mobility scooter. Did anyone else find it hilarious that Conor was talking shit while riding around on a mobility scooter? I thought that was hilarious. In other sports, the stakes are high, as with MMA. I don't know what you're trying to say there. You must have mistyped. Yeah, I'm getting my degree in communications, being a disabled veteran, and getting my degree. I'm hoping to get a sports broadcasting job. Man, I would love to be an MMA analyst, reporter, whatever. Work for an MMA website, or even just if I can grow this MMA channel big enough, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome if I can grow this channel enough. Let's see. I don't feel bad for Leon. He got taken out of the rankings because he kept clowning around instead of taking the fight. He got taken out of the rankings because he was refusing to fight Khamzat Chimaev because he wanted a bigger fight. So I think that's the UFC playing tomfoolery. Yes, gimmick Colby is a low. Forget it. Yeah, I don't find the gimmick funny at all. Both guys are coming off losses to highly ranked guys. Masvidal losing twice to the champ and Nate losing to the third ranked. Gamebridge versus Diaz for the BML title rematch in my eyes. I think that fight makes some sense, but I don't want to see it for the BML. That thing's so gimmicky. I'm tired of hearing about that. What's up? How's your day been? Good. How's your day been? Thank you for joining me, Poke Ben. Do you know? No, I do not. I do not know him. Never heard of it. Laughing face. Conor is talking crazy now because if Dustin pulled up, he'd go to jail for hitting disabled. Yeah, I seen a funny comment on the video of Conor riding around the mobility scooter. Somebody commented and said somebody could walk up to Conor, push him over, and there'd nothing he'd be able to do about it. Which I think is really hilarious. Well, actually, Leon denied the title shot in number one contender fight. That's why he was taken out of the rankings as well, according to DC himself. I never seen that at all, my friend. Leon wanted a big fight, and they were trying to force him to fight Khamzat Chimaev, and he was saying, I don't want to fight Khamzat Chimaev. He's not even ranked. And they took him out of the rankings, and then all of a sudden they put him back, and he was fighting Khamzat Chimaev. So I didn't see this, but I don't believe that for 1 second. He wanted big fights. Why would he not want some of the top-ranked guys? I can see you being caster for MMA on Point YouTube channel, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope to grow this channel pretty big. But who knows? But I'll tell you one thing, guys. You look out at some of these MMA media websites, and some of their live on their channels, personalities. They're not good. I don't watch them at all, and I love MMA. I look for MMA content, but there's so many terrible, MMA journalists or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of good ones too. There's very, very many good ones, but there's some that just aren't good, And I think a lot of these websites and channels could need them. But I hope to grow this channel and keep up with this channel and grow this channel to over 100,000 subscribers would be awesome. I'll check it out, my friend. That was on the Ariel and his show on ESPN. Yeah, maybe DC was confused. I don't remember hearing that from anyone. MMA on Point. What, do a lot of people work for MMA on Point? Guy, does anyone know? Okay. What do you think of Anderson Silva potentially boxing Logan Paul in September? I don't care for it. I'm not going to watch it at all. It's not something that I'm super interested in at all. And I'm happy both guys are getting paid. But other than that, I really have nothing to say about it. It's not really something that I'm not into freak show fights. And that's something that's freak show. Let's see. Someone already filled. I'm checking to see. Did you guys also hear? I want to talk about this one here. Chris Weidman has to have another surgery on his leg because apparently the first surgery didn't go well or whatever, or it didn't heal properly. So that sucks for him. You go out there, you fight, you break your leg like that, and then now you have to have multiple surgeries to correct the issue. That's bad. I hope a speedy recovery, This card weekends is kind of, yep. I've already said that, man. This is a terrible fight card. Bellator has a better fight card this weekend. The day the UFC started putting YouTube stars in the main event, I'm done with the UFC. I agree with you. 100%. Weidman needs to take his time. Yeah, it's going to take over a year, man. I mean, that leg is just mangled. He also got back on his leg. Yeah, also, I think that's a problem with a lot of guys. They think they can do better than what the doctor told them instead of just taking it safe and recovering slowly. So maybe that's an issue for him. Maybe not. But I hope, I hope he recovers. I hope he takes everything seriously. It just sucks, man. He's going out there for sport and he breaks his leg like that. Very similar to Anderson Silva, and now, he's got to deal with this for the rest of his life. That leg is never going to be the same. I don't care what anyone says. That leg is never the same after a leg break like that. Never, ever, ever, ever. It's always going to be jacked up. He also got back on his... Okay, I already read that. Chinge is funny, isn't he? Edwards turned down Wonderboy at the time, said the fighting Wonderboy would do nothing because Wonderboy is ranked below him. I do remember seeing something about that, which I didn't like that at all. I thought that was a good fight. But who knows? Who knows? Still, I think he's going to fight one more time, and hopefully it's against Gilbert Burns. We'll see if Aljo is milking it, if Peter knocks him out cold and he gets up quick. Oh, could you imagine that? That would be hilarious. If he knocked him out cold, and then he gets up all fast. I mean, Ben Askren got up quicker. If YouTube stars were to enter MMA, I don't think the UFC would want them. I could see Logan Paul fighting in Bellator or something, but never in the UFC. I hope not. I never want to see that. I'll be pissed. Funny because if Wonderboy had gotten over on Burns, he'd have a title shot before Leon. Leon could have stolen Shamaya's thunder. I agree. I thought at the time I thought Leon. I thought Leon should have took the Hamzat fight. I thought he was stupid for not. Why wouldn't you want to shut down a guy's hype like that? You gain a lot from that. Honestly, okay, anything could happen with training. Yeah, I don't ever want to see those guys competing in the UFC at all. Conor just broke his leg. He's walking 17 days later. Aljo is still concussed. Yeah, he looks like a Phil. What happens if Aljo wins? The MMA world is just dropped on its head. That would be one of the most insane things ever. Imagine he wins a controversial decision. Or imagine he sleeps Jan in the first round. That's the only way I see Sterling winning. Crowding him early and hitting him with like a flying knee or something. Yeah, Logan has started. He has some bad knees though. And yeah, he's not going to compete with these killers in MMA. What do you think of Cody asking to fight Brandon Moreno? I get it. He was supposed to fight him last year and he fell out. And he's hoping to fall into another title shot. But I don't think he should get it. I don't think he deserves it. He's just lost. I don't care what weight class it was at. So I want to see him. I would like to see him, get a fight at the weight class, show he can make weight, and then fight the champion potentially. Peter Yan is like an avalanche in the fight. Yeah, Peter Yan is just so good. Man, he just walks guys down. He out-grappled Aljo. Aljo has a bunch of first-round Hail Marys. He doesn't beat Sandhagen again. If Aljo wins, I'll go from laughing to crying to back to laughing. Agreed. I don't want to seem like a casual or anything. If you were betting on Paul Woodley, who would you bet on? I don't even... Man, I really... God, my mustache is itching my nose terribly. I would bet on Woodley, but I would stay away from it, man. I don't even... That stuff seems very, very finicky, and I don't trust Woodley. I don't want to trust Woodley with my money. By the way, what's good, Joey? Good to be on here with you guys. Appreciate you, Super Saiyan MMA. Appreciate you. I think Woodley is training with Floyd. Cody needs 2 to 3 fights at flyweight against high-rank opponent before a title fight in my eyes. I wouldn't mind seeing him get 2 fights, but I think it's one and the UFC gives it to him. I really think that's the way it goes. But appreciate you guys all joining me for the chat, man. This has been fun. If you haven't already, guys, like the video. I appreciate everybody who gave a donation in the chat today. The super chats have been much appreciated. If you guys have any last minute questions, put them in the chat. I'll probably be doing a live stream Saturday. I might even do a live stream on Friday or something. I've been trying to live stream more because it really does help grow the channel. And anybody who's watching this after the fact, do me a favor, comment some questions for next week. So let's get to these final questions, and then I'm going to end it. We've been on here for 2.5 hours. So, Brandon Moreno, a best now training with Canelo Alvarez, the best pound for pound in Mexico. Probably. I still feel like a total moron that Askren had a chance to beat Paul. Let me put it this way. I have no training at all. I think I have a chance boxing Ben Askren. He has some of the worst stand-up I've ever seen. I'll never forget when he first came to the UFC, they showed him in the back shadow boxing, like looking totally like a fool. And I said, Ben Askren's the first guy that ever lost a shadow boxing match. Yeah, you should feel like a moron. I didn't think he had a chance at all. But I didn't even think about it really because I didn't care about that. I stay away from those freak show fights. Moreno is definitely a badass fighter. I agree with you. Chimney said no, don't end. All right, if somebody wants to send in a super chat, I'll keep this chat going for 3 hours. So if somebody wants to throw in a super chat, we'll go 3 hours. We have to see if Cody looks good at 125. He might fight like crap. That's a major cut. Yeah, agreed. I think any guy who wants a title shot at a new weight class, I think 90% of the time they should have to fight at least one fight before, going to, getting a title shot. I really think they should. It's just a bad look. If you go to another fight class, especially coming off losses, and then you think you deserve a title shot, no way. Usman versus Prime GSP, who's winning? That's a tough fight to call, and that's a fight that I would love to see. I would have loved to see. I'll go Usman, but that's a hard one. I think GSP could probably win too. I think it's really a 50-50, but I'll go Usman. I do trust me, but I love freak shows. I don't like them, man. I didn't watch Conor versus Floyd. I don't watch any of these freak shows. Gilbert is calling everyone out for November. Who should he 100%? Who should he get 100% for sure? I say Leon Edwards. I think that's the fight to make. Both guys are kind of on the way to a title shot. So I think that's the fight that makes sense. Pities and STI, man. Look at you coming in clutch for the MMA Joey community right now. See, I gotta start doing that more often. Hey, look. If somebody donates $20, we'll go at least 3.5 hours. So you guys can think about that. If someone wants to donate a full $20, we'll go 3.5 hours on this chat. But no matter what, pities and STI, man. Appreciate the donation. We will be going 3 hours now, and appreciate it, man. You held it down. Look at Chimney. He's happy. Gaming's happy. Everyone's happy for you, man. Thank you for the donation. You're supporting the channel no matter what. It's going towards my new microphone anyway. My new microphone coming soon. Within a month or two, I'm getting that new microphone, regardless, even if I got enough donations or not. So you kept the chat going for another half an hour. Who knows? We keep getting these donations. This might be the longest chat ever. So $20 donation, we'll go 3.5 hours. So okay, haha, agree. And keep the questions coming, guys. Keep the questions coming. That's what keeps the chat fun. So we're going to go 3 hours, and we'll see how it goes from there. I don't think you can donate 1,000, can you? If someone wants to donate 1,000, I'll stay on for 12 hours. Yeah, if someone wants to donate 1,000, I don't know if I can last 24. Can I sleep on the chat? Someone donates 1,000, I'll stay on for 12 hours. For sure. I'll take breaks, bathroom breaks, and get foods too. But someone wants to donate 1,000, I'll stay on here for 12 hours. I was stationed in Italy for Conor versus Floyd. I was up 3 a.m. and watching it. I didn't even care about it at all. And I know that sounds crazy because you guys know how much of an MMA fan I am. But no, dude. I would actually be sad if you donated 1,000. 12 hours would be hard to do, but I'd do it. I keep my word for it. Yeah, new microphone. Yeah, the new microphone setup, between everything I got to get, it's like $800. So if you guys want to help me buy that microphone tomorrow, throw in the chats as many as possible. Throw in the super chats. Pities and STI is just coming in the chat room like this. So, if I win the lottery, I'll know what to do. Yeah. New microphone tomorrow. If Cloudmaster Sterling loses to Jan, who do you pair him up with next? To be honest, this isn't going to be a very popular fight, I don't think, for you guys. I want to see that Sandhagen rematch. I'd love to see that Sandhagen rematch. But if not, let's say the Sandhagen rematch doesn't happen. Maybe the winner of Jose Aldo versus Pedro Munoz. Look at you guys. Hold me down. Hold me down. Are you a gamer? Yes. I have both PS5 and Xbox One S. Not One S. Xbox Series S. I get confused with the names. I would say a rematch with Garbrandt. Look at David. Look at David. Conor Floyd was an abomination. So you donated because you agree with me. You donate because you agree with me. Big Rocker Johnson, what's going on? Hey, David. Yeah, David just got off work. Thank you for joining. Guys, we're still waiting for a full $20 donation, and I will stay on for 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. So someone send in the $20 super chat, and I'm going to be here for 3.5 hours. Just got off work. I appreciate you stopping in for the chat. Whether you stop in for the whole chat, you stop in for 5 minutes, I appreciate it. And just submitting questions. I know there's some people that just watch and don't really ever interact. I was usually that guy that would watch live chats and didn't never really interact with people or interact with channels as a consumer. So I really appreciate you guys really getting in the chat and throwing questions. Gaming channel? No, I never had a gaming channel or anything like that. But that'd be fun. I always wanted to. I buy a lot of movies and technology and stuff, and I always kind of wanted to start an unboxing channel. I always liked unboxing. Do you see Aldo potentially becoming a 2-time champion? I'll say yes. I think he has what it takes to be the bantamweight champion, but the problem is his cardio. If Jose Aldo had Max Holloway cardio, I think he beats every single person. But by the way, I don't think I spent enough time on it. David, I appreciate your donation so much, man. I'm looking you dead in the eyes right now, David. And I agree with you that Conor versus Floyd was an abomination, and I did not watch that. I did not watch that fight. I would never watch that fight. I seen a little bit of highlights after the fact on YouTube, but I didn't care. I didn't want to see it. It just wasn't what I didn't want it at all. But to go back, I think Aldo could potentially become the bantamweight champion. He's only 34. Yeah, TJ Dillashaw is older than Jose Aldo. Is that not blowing anybody's mind? Does not blow anybody's mind? That's crazy. I agree with you. Mickey Gall wants to fight Colby on the Colby versus Usman card. He should fight Miguel Baeza. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a decent fight. I'm surprised Mickey Gall is still standing in strong. With the I really didn't think he would last in the UFC at all. The most amazing thing is seeing fighters get better over time. You guys have heard me talk about that on certain videos. One thing I look for when I say I'm high on a fighter is consistent, progressive improvement over time. So you see a guy come out, even if he loses, you see he's a little bit better than he was in the last fight. And that's what I really look for in fighters that I really care about. You know what I mean? That I really want to see, and I think that's the most important thing you look for. Hold on a second. The most amazing thing is seeing fighters get... Okay, I already read that. But the wars on Aldo have added extra years. Yeah, and also Aldo, every time he's lost, he's got absolutely demolished. The Max Holloway beatings were terrible. The stoppages have been terrible. Oh my God, the Petr Yan stoppage was atrocious. Why does the referee let Jose Aldo absolutely get demolished? Sad. Jose Aldo took very much unnecessary damage in all 3 of those fights he was stopped in. He started off that Jan fight very, very well, though. How is Aldo making 135 when little younger he looked horrible on the scale at 145? I don't know. Maybe it's caused him to use better nutrition because a lot of people doubted he could make that 135. And he's done a great job and he's looked great at 135. So, Gall versus Diego Sanchez was beast. Yeah, Diego wrecked him. Faber blew it with Aldo in WC. He didn't wrestle him at all. Just took the leg kicks all fight. He couldn't even walk by the fifth. Yeah, he got stomped out. Frank Yeager should be on UFC 268 since it might be in NYC. Yeah, supposedly he wants to fight Sean O'Malley. So, I mean, that'd be a decent fight. I think that's the best ranked opponent that Sean O'Malley can fight and have the, highest probability of winning. I think he could. I would probably favor Frankie Edgar, but I think he has the best probability of beating Frankie Edgar as far as ranked fighters. Holly Holm versus Norman Dumont in the works for UFC Fight Night on October 16th. Is that the main event? I'm not all that excited for that fight. I don't think Norma's all that great. I think Holly Holm is going to be gone soon. But I hope it's not the main event. If it's the main event, I mean, think about how little we've talked about the main event for this Saturday. Usually when I do a live chat the week before a fight, we're always talking about the main event for the following week. Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. I even forgot who it was at the point. And we're not talking about it because it's a terrible fight card. It's a terrible main event. So I hope that Holly Holm versus Norma Dumont is not the main event. Masvidal versus Wonderboy 2 thoughts. I think Wonderboy beats him again. I think Wonderboy's just too slick with the striking. Masvidal doesn't pose a grappling threat. And I think Wonderboy just outstrikes him. And I'm high on Masvidal. I know a lot of people, over the last year when he's lost to Usman, I always thought Masvidal was criminally underrated until he knocked out Ben Askren. He was criminally underrated. I wish I would have had a channel when Masvidal in the lead up to Ben Askren, because my analysis of that fight, I told everyone who I talked to about it, I said Ben Askren's going to get brutally KO'd. And a lot of people thought Ben Askren was going to ragdoll Masvidal. I said, no, Askren has the worst striking I've ever seen in my life. Even if he gets him down, he's every round they stand back up, and eventually Masvidal will get the brutal KO. So, but I think Masvidal loses to Wonderboy again. They've already fought before in New York City, matter of fact. And I think Wonderboy beats him again. I don't see Aldo winning a title again. Only reason he got the recent shot at the title was because of his previous achievements. And yeah, what Diaz did to him was redonkulous. Yeah, the fight was super competitive. If Aldo can string like 2 big wins in a row, he might be able to. But the bantamweight division is so tough. It's so tough. Frankie is just becoming a poster boy for KOs now. Please, Frankie, don't ruin your future. Yeah, agreed, man. I wonder if Frankie's going to head down to flyweight soon enough. He looks like he could make it. It's crazy he fought at 155 for so many years. Hall versus Strickland shouldn't even be open in the main card of a fight night. That's about where it belongs. I think Strickland versus Hall is a decent main event, but it's just not a good card. It's a terrible card, and I don't think it belongs as a main event. I just don't think it's on par. Covington shocks the world and beats Usman. Strickland beats Hall, and McKee beats Pitbull. You heard it here first, fellas. Okay, Burner Boy, I disagree with you, but I heard it. I'll remember that comment. Do you think people are letting the Yan fight get to people's head because everyone thinks Aljo sucks all the attention of a sudden? Yeah, I hope that Yan isn't buying into that, and I hope he's taking the fight seriously. Because imagine he's not, and he thinks he's just going to roll over Aljamain Sterling, and Aljamain Sterling comes out. He's going to be more motivated than ever to win this fight. Everyone's doubting him. You don't think Sterling wants to come out and prove everyone wrong? So we'll see what his strategy is, but I hope Yan doesn't overlook him because of the first fight. It was the luckiest knee of all time. Ben would have choked him out if that knee missed. I know his stand-up is trash, but I don't sleep on his wrestling. I think Masvidal would have found him. Would have found his chin. Eventually, anyway. No matter what. Even if he got him down in the first second and held him there, the second round starts up on the feet. I think Masvidal would have found his chin eventually. Ben Askren is one of the worst strikers I've ever seen in my life. He lost in a shadow boxing match with himself. If Ben Askren, but I appreciate you putting your opinion in there. I don't want you to sound like I'm trashing you right now. If Ben Askren had better striking, I think he could have been in the conversation for one of the best welter's cut weights of all time. It's unfortunate he was a one-trick pony. Yeah, it really is. If he had some decent striking, he would have been a really tough force. Because imagine he has good striking and he's fighting Kamaru Usman. That would have been a fun fight. Mad respect to Frankie. He was so undersized at 155. I know, for so many years, and he didn't even want to go down until he started losing. Usman beats Colby, fights Leon next, but will beat Leon. Who can beat Usman? Nightmare match. I think really, if I had to say who I think had the best probability of beating Usman, I think it's Burns. And I know that sounds crazy because he got finished in the second round. But that's just my opinion. If you had to say you could simulate the top 5 fighting Usman 100 times over, who beats Usman the most amount of times, I would say Burns. Imagine Yan versus TJ. That would be one of the most technical fights of all time. I'd love it. I favor Yan. Who do you guys favor in Yan versus TJ? I favor Yan. I hope Colby beats Usman for no other reason than I want to see a shakeup in the division, especially with such an abrasive person like Colby. A pro-Trump heel at the top of the division would be fun. I'm not a fan of Colby's personality. It's just, for me, it's not even the personality itself. It's more that I feel like it's so forced, and it's not really him. I wouldn't mind the shakeup in the division, but I like to see sustained greatness, and so I kind of want to see Usman retain, just because of the sustained greatness. I like seeing a guy stay on top for a while, and it's fun to see, okay, who's going to beat him. Look at us talking. We talked probably for at least 15 minutes of this live chat. Who can beat Usman? At one point, they were comparing GSP with Askren. When Askren was not in the UFC, the hype was real. I know. They were talking about that fight. Also, people making Dustin seem invincible now. He's really good, but everyone keeps saying he's going to run through Charles and then go up and beat Colby, in my opinion. He won't even get through Oliveira. I agree. I don't think that the Conor McGregor wins are all that great. I think Dustin's a great fighter. I think he can beat Charles. But to act like he's going to run through Charles Oliveira just because he beat a washed-up Conor McGregor, no. And if anybody thinks Dustin's going to beat Colby, I think they're smoking crack. I think Colby beats Dustin. Yan would completely annihilate the current version of TJ. Not an interesting fight. I think it's an interesting fight, but I favor Yan. I'd like to see how TJ came out. By the way, Dave, thanks for joining the chat. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like the chat as well. I think Dillashaw has the cardio to get deep in the fight with Yan, but I see Yan finding his chin. Yeah, I think Yan can out-grapple him too. Yan has some of the best grappling in the game. And he does stuff with it too. I thought I was the only one. I hate having a dominant champ. I like it interesting. That's just me. I get what you're saying, but just for me, I like having a dominant champ some of the time. It's fun wondering who was going to beat him. Let's see what we got here. Hold on a second, guys. Let's see. Okay, that was weird. GSP is overrated. I don't know if he was overrated or not. I highly disagree. What are you highly disagreeing with? I'm curious. I missed this one. Sandhagen was robbed. I don't know if it was a robbery. I think Sandhagen won. But I think Sandhagen should have got rounds 2, 4, and 5 and won the fight. Name I can't pronounce will be the future welterweight champ. We'll see, my friend. You got to remember that Matt Hughes and GSP are godfathers of the welterweight division. Exactly. It was a different era. But GSP did leave when it got super interesting. Do you think KB gets totally destroyed this weekend? KB. Who are you talking about? I don't even know who you're talking about, Dave Lagunas. Maybe I'm missing something. KB. Nothing comes to mind off the top of my head. Pitbull versus AJ McKee. And you have Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. Maybe I'm missing something. That's what I'm saying, big rocker. I swear people like things get to the head. I see people saying Moreno would beat Aljo and that if Cody goes down to flyweight, that Moreno would ragdoll him. Imagine he doesn't even beat Askarov. Yeah, it's recency bias. It happens to everyone. Have you watched Tough yet? The fight last night was one of the best in Tough history. No, I have not. Maybe I'll go check out that fight. I just haven't been interested in watching it too much. I've been wanting to try, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard. Especially trying to follow everything that's going on in MMA, running my channel, doing these videos. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up, my friend. I'm back with ice cream. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me back. I guess it was. Guys, keep the chat going. Come on, we're going 3 hours. We're going 3 hours today. A 3-hour chat. So, you guys got to fill the chat with questions. Fill it with super chat donations. Fill it with whatever you want. Get on Tough, it's good, bro. I've heard mixed things. People saying it's terrible, people saying it's good. I might just check out the fights, at least the last night's fight. Who do you have as the winner in Moreno versus Askarov? I have Moreno. That's a tough fight to pick. Both guys are very, very good. I'd probably go with Moreno, but admittedly, I think it's probably recency biased. I think that's the fight to make, though. Askarov's a legit fighter. Supposedly, I heard that he's partially deaf. Has anybody heard that? But I'd like to see that fight. I think Cody needs to get a couple wins at flyweight before we see him fighting for a title. I just don't think he should change divisions and go down and be able to get an immediate title shot at all. I just don't think he should be able to do that. It's very rare that somebody should change divisions and get a title shot. And it should almost never happen when they're coming off losses. You shouldn't be able to lose, go down a division or change divisions and get a title shot when you're on a losing streak, even if it's just one. How crazy is it? Cody's lost 3 out of his last 4. That's crazy. Yes, he's deaf. They fought before, went to draw where Moreno clearly won. I forgot that fight. I seen the fight, but I forgot it. Who wins, Cannonier or Gastelum? I'll go Gastelum. I think I've always been high on Gastelum. His last couple of performances haven't been all that great. But, fighting Whitaker on short notice is a tough, tough fight. And then the fight before that against Ian Heinisch really wasn't all that good. So for me, it's hard. It's hard. But I'd go Gastelum. Cannonier's kind of like a one-trick pony with his power. So I'll pick Gastelum. Last night I was checking fight odds, and Yan Opens is an even bigger favorite than he was over Aljo. Yeah, I think he should be. The first fight went completely his way. Who would you pair Paulo Costa up? I would say Luke Rockhold. Give me Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa. I think that's a fun fight. And if Luke Rockhold wins, he could be right in the title discussion with his former champion, big name. When a fighter goes down to weight later in their career, this is a major red flag. It's usually going up in weight. Yeah, I don't know if it's a red flag. Some people are different, but I definitely don't think it's a good thing to be changing weight. And obviously, it's always for a reason. They're losing. Jambi, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. You don't know how much I appreciate it. We're going 3 hours tonight. Again, if someone wants to donate $20 in the super chat, I will go 3.5 hours. I will go 3.5 hours if someone donates $20 in the super chat, a full $20. But right now, we're going at least 3 hours, and maybe a little bit over if the questions keep coming in. But thank you so much for the donation, man. No matter what it is, big, small, I appreciate every single one of them. And it's just going back into the channel. It's going back into the channel. This channel's an investment for me. I like doing it. And if it grows to something big, then I'm happy. But keep the questions coming. I appreciate the donation, Jambi. I really do. Vettori versus Costa. That makes a lot of sense as well. Both coming off losses to the champion. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. They should make that fight. I think that's probably the fight they do make. I bet you they give Luke Rockhold a little bit of an easier opponent, probably. So thanks for telling me. Skyward Gaming, he's too busy being drunk crying. Okay, yep. I see, I can't pronounce his name, entering the rankings very soon. He has so much potential. Hold on a second, guys. Okay. He has so much potential. Hopefully one day we see him and Hamzat fighting one day. That'd be an interesting matchup for sure. Stipe is upset. Does he have a right to be pissed? Yes and no. So arguably he does deserve a rematch, but I think the reason the UFC didn't give it to him is because his inactivity. What are they going to... He fought 3 times in 3 years. And whether it was injuries or no fault of his own, it's just one of those things. They want to keep the division flowing, and Stipe's the guy who likes a lot of time off. So I think he has a right to wait for a title shot. But now you kind of have a point. And I think he was all right when Ngannou was supposed to defend his belt in August and he was going to try to fight the winner next year. But now that the division's really clogged up, you have the fact that, you have Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis in a week or so. Then the winner of that's going to fight Ngannou probably not till early next year. And then if Stipe wanted to wait around, he's going to have to sit out till over a year of inactivity to then get a fight. So I think he does have a right, but at the same time, I understand. We want to keep the division rolling. We're tired of one fight a year. One title fight a year is ridiculous. But he does deserve it on merit. He's the greatest heavyweight champion of all time. They're 1-1. If he was a bigger star, they would have booked that next fight immediately. So I think he does have a legitimate argument. Cody still wouldn't be a big flyweight. He walk around weight is 140. I didn't know that. For $50, he would talk for 6 hours. I don't know about 50 for 6 hours. It had to be maybe 100. But yeah, keep the donations coming, guys. You're helping grow the channel. You're investing in the channel. Wish my phone didn't die during your TJ versus Cory stream. I wanted to see your reaction to the judge's decision to the co-main event. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's still on the channel. You can go find it on the channel if you want to watch it. I don't remember what it was. I never went back and rewatched it. But what? Hold on. I can't even remember what was the co-main event at this point in time. So let me go look that up. I don't even remember. What was? Wanted to see your reaction to the judge's decision to the co-main event. What was the co-main event? I can't remember now. How did I forget? That's how forgettable that card was. I'm looking it up right now since nobody's answering me. Kyler Phillips. I think I thought Paiva won. If you want to see a funny reaction, go look at my reaction to Maverick versus Macy Barbara. I had a funny reaction to that, I think. But you can go back and watch it. It's on the channel. And if anybody ever watches my live streams after the fact, do me a favor. Comment timestamps. I would love it. I would appreciate it so much. It would help with the channel. If I have any funny reactions, it's hard for me to go back and try to find that. So if you're actually watching it and you can timestamp for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. They made an interim fight for Francis for wanting to fight in September instead of August. Yeah, it makes no sense. At the end of the day, it doesn't really hurt anyone, but it just kind of takes a hit to the merit of the title. Put Stipe against the loser of Gane versus Lewis or Stipe versus Jones. Stipe's got a lot of options. I feel bad for Burns. Everyone is ducking him so hard. One more fight, and assuming he wins, I think he gets another title shot. In my opinion, I think he'll become a champ on his second attempt. I was talking about it earlier. I don't know if you were here, CT. By the way, shout out to CT. He's been subscribed since I had about 20 to 30 subscribers. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the support. Been here since 20 to 30 subscribers. Somewhere around that point in time, I believe. So you're an OG of the channel. But I feel bad for Burns too, but I think they'll get him a fight against somebody. And I think he has the best chance of beating Usman if I look at the current welterweights. Stipe probably fights the winner of Blades versus Biggie Boy. That would make a lot of sense as well. Francis was saying he was going back to Africa but was shooting a movie. Fast and Furious, and was literally at Usman and Izzy fight. Yeah, he needed time. He was traveling. He wasn't training, and he said he wanted to fight in September. The UFC just needed a title fight to fill that hole at Houston, and that's why they did that. Or if Jones makes his debut, put him against Stipe, and then the winner gets the next shot. I would love that fight. I want to see Jones versus anyone. Kyler. I thought Kyler lost. I don't remember what my exact judging was, but I thought it was close, but I thought he lost. I thought it could have been a draw, I think, if I remember correctly. Can you see Patrice Pitbull ever signing with the UFC? I think it's possible. I don't know if Bellator ever lets him go. He's one of their best fighters. Don't be surprised if we don't see Jones ever at heavyweight. He was banking on Stipe winning. I think we see him eventually. I just wish the UFC would make it happen. And I know that's easy for me to say. I don't have access to the numbers. But I believe there's got to be a medium in between that the guys can become. Jones can be happy and the UFC can be happy. I think John Jones versus Francis Ngannou is the biggest fight the UFC can make. I think it sells more than Conor versus Dustin 3. And that did like 1.6 buys or 1.7. I think Francis Ngannou versus John Jones for the heavyweight belt would be the biggest pay-per-view of all time, or at least top 2. Would compete with Conor versus Khabib. So they got to be willing, to pay that. What game plan do you think Francis would go into the fight against Lewis without another boring fight? I don't know, because both guys have some brutal knockout power. Brutal knockout power. And, it's hard because one bad movement and you get clipped and KO'd. So it's hard. I think that he's just going to try to chop the legs, and then eventually look for the KO. I know that's not very good analysis, but I think he would try to chop Derek Lewis's legs heavily, immobilize him, then he'd be kind of easier to pick apart. Would you want to see Jones versus DC 3? Not really at this point. If DC would have won the trilogy with Stipe, I would have wanted to see it at heavyweight. If DC would have beat Stipe, I think we would have saw John Jones versus Daniel Cormier 3 at heavyweight, which would have been so much fun. Rose versus Carlos should be the co-main 2, UFC 268. That wouldn't be a bad fight. At all. Izzy versus Jones would be sick at light heavyweight. I know they have some beef. It would be sick in the build-up, but Jones would wreck Izzy. Lima versus MVP 2. Who wins? I don't know, man. MVP, I know a lot of people think he's nothing but hype. He has shown some promise. He looked all right in that fight before he got KO'd, and it was kind of a weird, leg kick and then the uppercut. But I'll pick Lima. He won the first one. I think he wins the second one probably. But that's a fun fight. Lewis said first round KO next time they fight. Imagine if Lewis pulls that off. That would be insanity. All right, guys, we officially reached the 3-hour mark for this stream. I appreciate all you guys so much. If you haven't already liked the stream, if you're watching this in the future, make sure you comment down below. And if you're not here live and you want your questions answered, comment down below and I will answer them on next week. So I'll come back to this video and see. I want to say thank you to everyone who donated it to the chat today. I really do appreciate it. We went 3 hours. I think this might be my longest live chat stream. I've done longer fight companions, but as far as regular old live chats, I don't think I've done one for 3 hours. So a 3-hour live chat stream, that's a lot. We've covered a lot of topics. And for you guys to just stick around with me here and watch me for 3 hours, ask questions, like the video, support the channel with donations, it means a lot. It means a lot. I said it before. I can't believe that some of you guys like the channel so much that you hang out with me for all this time. You're sending donation. You don't even know me, other than my channel. And just to donate to help support the channel, it really means a lot. I appreciate everybody who submitted questions. I appreciate everybody who's watching the replay of this. And I'll do another stream maybe Friday. If not, I'll definitely be streaming Saturday for the UFC fights or Bellator fights. Both fights probably I'll have them up. If you guys have any last minute questions, throw them in the chat right now because I'm reading these last little message. Jones is massive next to Izzy. Agree. I think Jones spanks him. I want to see Jones versus Jan Blachowicz. That fight was supposed to happen when Jan fought Reyes. I really want to see that fight. I want to see Jones versus Yuri Prohaska. Andrew, thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I really want to see Lewis win against Ngannou. No disrespect to Ngannou, but imagine Black Beast as the champ. That'd be hilarious. See you. Be safe. Catch you next time. Thank you, Alex, man. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Winner of Strickland versus Hall should be Luke Rockhold. Okay, that wouldn't be bad. Thank you, Gaming. Thank you, Pity Gaming. Are you going live on Saturday? Probably. And thank you, Pound for Pound, #1, Tiramisu. Farewell. Appreciate every single one of you. And thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in my future videos. And feel free to stop by on Saturday night when I'm live streaming. Appreciate every single one of you.